break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss that fact, taking big...
I really think that there's been a sorely missed opportunity for developers to take a step back from competition and take a step forward with community. And if they do that, I think we all win, because community, I would argue, is the one thing that no one's trying to solve. We're trying to solve recruitment. We're trying to solve competition. Tell me, where's community? Honestly, any one of you, go ahead. Shout out what's the national community for Scholastic right now. Any title, tell me.
Yeah.
Where do I go? How do I meet and hang out?
Of the storm.
How does
community zero?
There's nothing. It doesn't exist anymore. And it doesn't exist statewide. It doesn't exist school-wide. It doesn't exist region-wide. It doesn't exist nationally. It doesn't exist digitally on Twitch. It doesn't exist digitally on Discord. It doesn't exist through any form of skill-based development. It doesn't exist on any form of, skill-based learning, or just pure socialization and fandom. Huge missed opportunity. You want to take their time and make it more efficient. In my opinion, tell Riot Scholastic politely to stop what they're doing with competitive, and their integration with LCS should be, Twitch, symposiums and summits and conversations and learning and all sorts of wonderful things, and promoting camps and educational learning activities and RSSA sponsored curriculum. That will move the needle. I don't see any of that.
So Chris, that was pretty much the last topic. You kind of wrapped it in a nice package called community. And I was kind of thinking more from an organizer and a broadcaster point of view around growing fandom. And how do we get fandom around collegiate esports to look more like traditional sports across the board? And, that helps us go out and sell sponsorships in the place, of which trickles down to all our member schools that we represent. But when we go to brands and we can't check that box of, 1 billion impressions and 1 million views, we still are challenged with selling those sponsorships. So my last and final is, do we have any secrets around how to grow fandom or grow community let's just start with on campus?
I got the big one real quick.
Okay.
Best way to grow community: food nights. It has nothing to do with playing the game. I'll give you a real life example. We used to do dollar burger night at the University of Cincinnati. We'd just go out to Bar Louie. We used to have dollar burgers every Wednesday. We'd post in at this time, those Facebook groups, tell people where to show up. 6 people, 12 people showed up the first week. By the third month, we had 40 plus people coming. And it was the biggest revenue night of the week for Bar Louie every week, purely because of us. But we had friendships, we had relationships, we had roommates, we had all sorts of great, wonderful things come from that. And that translated to our LANs, our club meetings, and everything from that. It was nothing beats food nights.
Just like pro sports, we need to focus on tribalism. And the way that you create tribalism is you have to prioritize in-person experience, in my opinion. I think that there's a lot of companies trying to become unicorn online platforms, but at the end of the day, I think we need pockets and hubs around the country that serve as regional and local hubs. Once you get a group of people together that share their love for the team that is on their campus, they start to develop a bond around that. You can do that online, but it won't be nearly as effective. Professional esports is having this tribalism problem because it's the majority of it's online. It's resulted in fans following players more so than the teams. I mean, that's a pretty broad topic, though. Like, we're starting to see those trends in traditional sports as well start to occur. People will follow LeBron and specific players on different teams to wherever they are. But I think for collegiate specifically, um, schools need to create meaningful live experiences. And if we're talking explicitly about fandom, you have to make the students on your campus care about the team uh,
Mm-hmm.
first. That's the biggest thing. Either you create a level of pride through community engagement, or through the team itself. Um, at a lot of schools, the groundwork is there for this. Like there are schools like UBC, Ohio State, with Buckeye Gaming Collective that have uh, clubs that number in the 2 to 3,000 range, right? So they have a base to begin with. At a school like Maryville, like we kind of developed it the opposite way. When I came in and started building our esports program, we had 3 kids in our esports club, and so we've kind of built the team, and then the club has followed, which is kind of the opposite for a lot of schools. But um, I think that we have to develop tribalism, and that starts with meaningful live events. And the more that these events, the longer that these events continue to be like only online, the
Mm-hmm.
less effective it is in creating
Mm-hmm.
that final goal.
Agreed. Doc, you wrap it up for us, please.
I would just say this: clubs ebb and flow based on their leadership. But if all students, all clubs, all groups are given regular and meaningful invitations to come in, use the space, create what you want out of this, then it will continue to thrive despite the change in leadership. I can just imagine that Cincy student group with Chris, heavy in the leadership there, just being amazing. But there's not always someone with his skill set um, at the helm. So you just need to be open and look for opportunities to serve, even though it can be more difficult, especially in the scheduling of the space. I know a lot of people that don't like anybody else but the players they're recruited to use their space. As much as we can, if we want to build community, we have to open the space to
Mm-hmm.
people that we wouldn't normally see in there and let them do the types of things that they want to do.
One more thing, so like on a national level, though, if we want to raise the general viewership of all of collegiate esports and not just different pockets, um, that's a hard one because people watch esports to see people do stuff that they're better than them at,
Mm-hmm.
right? So naturally at the collegiate level we're going to be at a lower level than pro, so it's hard to get people to watch for that reason. But what we can sell are narratives and storylines, matchup histories. And as we start to build a longer history of collegiate esports, I
Mm-hmm.
actually truly believe that some of the CLOL storylines are more rich than what exists in an academy
100%.
and the LCS, but no one's really covering it. No one's really drilling down into it. No one's creating narrative content. So uh, I think that that's the key to getting people to care about it. Like if there's a storyline, people attach themselves to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll add one more thing before we end. The largest organizations on any university campus. This is a very blanket statement. Could be wrong for you. It's right for many. Campus ministry and Greek life are always the largest groups on campus. Why? It's because of the concept of family. Let me explain. With a club or a program, many people identify, oh, I am a gamer, but I am also A, B, C. And usually it's I am A, B, C, and I'm also a gamer. Not everyone is a gamer first and foremost. And you're only going to capture that population
Mm-hmm.
if you're promoting purely competitive and purely esports. And so I said food nights and social activities, I'm really stealing from campus ministry and Greek life, because what you want to do to build community at your school is to make it so that the thing that you're doing is the number one thing in the students' lives. Now that's a very selfish thing to say, but it's a true statement. For you to grow the largest community, your community needs to feel that the thing that they're a part of is the most important part of their social campus experience. That's why Greek life is so successful. That's why campus ministry is so successful. And when you treat esports as a program of just competition, practice, and development,
Mm-hmm.
that's an outlet. That's not a way of life. Not for at scale. Not when 55% of the campus body at a Division I school identifies as a gamer in some way, shape, or form. You're not going to touch that 55%. You're going to touch 5%, maybe. You're probably going to touch 0.05% or 0.5% at a Division I school. And so what you really need to do is build that community authentically by, as Doc said about Dan, what are the people prioritizing, and do that. And how do they enjoy their life? What would they find meaningful? Do that. And then do everything else, because the financials and everything else, the planning and all that matters too. And that's why we have a talent problem in Scholastic Esports. But I will wrap up and say, for the national level, Dan's completely right on narrative. But I'm not worried about that, because the only thing we need to build community nationwide is just time. Mm-hmm. We are 2 generations away from critical mass. And all it takes is that the current generation of students to grow up, get in the professional workforce, and have kids and raise them on the things that they were fans of. It's how baseball grew. It's how basketball grew. It's how rugby and all those other sports grow and sustain.
Cornhole grew.
But in all seriousness, all we need is time. All we need to do is ensure that our products get better, our opportunities become more authentic, accessibility remains open, and monetization remains enough to us to continue to what we're doing and grow.
Hey guys, KTAD here, and just like that, another season of ECAC Esports regular season play has come to a close. Over the last 8 weeks, we saw a crazy amount of hype competition from some of the best collegiate esports has to offer, and as usual, you guys have me one last time to break it all down and to show you guys what we thought were some of the top plays this week. And honestly, guys, I don't have much more to say. Just check it out, because I think we've got some really incredible clips here. Let's take a look. In our opening clip, it's Professor Dementium with a straight boot off the stage to kick things off for Bloomfield.
Got himself one, kicked back off stage though. But the air dodge is going to be that Bowser. He'll do it again, and he'll also bring himself that down smash, so he gets quickly back before that Falcon's able to take any sort of advantage. But well, you're gone. The spikes come through. It's a clean kick to wrap things up, and well, he's got one. He's got one stock for his troubles.
Up next, the duel of Donkers and Robeast have some things to say with this beautiful 1-2 combo to close the door on Albany.
Hit the intersection, go straight up in the air for Robeast, who's going to work Central Missouri into the offense. Flip reset's a good one. The pass down to Donkers, and he finds the net. A 3-goal deficit in Game 3.
I gotta say, Curtis, it seems like after these two teams came out of Game 2, right? Again.
In our next play, who needs to be able to see your enemy when you can just take a educated guess?
Great, 1-for-1 over towards Catwalk. There's still more where that came from. Myranium is next up, and he will take a couple too many fights. Solsta as well is going to be able to take a couple of fights, winning them both. It's a 1v3, and Novacorium won't be able to do anything. Johnson, Wales.
At number 5, it's Saltonics with this huge flank onto Cole College to secure Temple of Anubis for his team.
Right now, it's got to be just destroying it straight up. Maybe with the Coalescence, maybe the Supercharger, but that Riptire could just immediately rip through.
Here's that Riptire. It does move Joker, but it could have been a catastrophic play. Now Nightbolt is pulled all the way off the point, and that's an easy one. Tonic's coming in with a triple off of that crucial Rocket Barrage, and that is all of them off the point.
Now it's down to Joker just to get the touch onto the point. Tracer.
Coming back to the Bloomfield versus Keene matchup, it was a clutch finish from Zenipu as he finishes off Brandon without dropping a single stock.
One more lease on life. Lease on life indeed for Brandon. Looking to hold the ledge, but a recovery from Zenipu. He says second time's the charm. He'll send him to the moon, and once again, Zenipu will not drop a stock.
Last packing our way into the number 2 spot though. It's a 4K from Butter to cement the lead for Providence College.
Back roads around the high ground to try and avoid that
Oh!
as much as possible.
Oh my absolute days! Here was me looking for that transcendence to counteract the grab, and no, it was just a big fat go button. In comes the pulse bomb. Down goes SUNY Poly Wildcats.
Phil, I can't remember the last time I've seen.
Last packing our way into the number 2 spot though. It's a 4K from Butter to cement the lead for Providence College.
Not much more. That tap can go a long way in the latter half, right? Now Retna bringing out that stimmy, trying to get the opportunity to move the team in forward. Okay, there's that showstopper I was thinking about. It looks like D-Nuns is going to have that show stopped. Sal, not particularly far behind, a 4v2. But really starting to wake up here on the race.
Yeah, wow, so impressive. And 4K there, just going straight through the entire team like a bulldozer. Will not stop until all are taken down.
And in our top play from the last week of regular season play, it is a nail-biter last-second goal that will keep you guessing until the very end.
Leaves their own open, a little bit of high pass, you angle it in, but it's just off the top of the goalpost.
Top of the goalpost coming in deep. Matrix able to find something here. The demolition comes through. 7 seconds left for a true game win, but in overtime feeling incredibly likely. But tied out of a wide open goal. No! No! Orbital, the waffle iron has been flipped, and Farmingdale finds themselves up 4-3. 2 seconds left on the clock. The only hope for Louisville to win this out is with a kickoff goal. They cannot make a single mistake, or they will.
And with that, I mean, what more do you guys want me to say? It was a crazy week to wrap things up, but it's really just been a crazy season overall with the addition of Division A and what I personally think is some of the most competitive action here in collegiate esports. I mean, what a season, and there's only much more to come. With the playoffs starting on April 4th, you guys can expect to see a lot more action that will continue all throughout the month, and that will wrap up on the week of April 25th. Now, if you guys want to stay up to date on all of that, make sure you follow us on Twitter at ECAC_esports, or follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/ECAC_esports. Mondays and Tuesdays, matches will be lighting off at 8 p.m. Eastern. On Wednesdays, it is going to be the doubleheader of Rocket League and Overwatch at 7 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you guys are tuned in. And as for me and the rest of the crew behind the scenes that works on not only just the production, but these highlight videos for you guys, we just want to say thank you for joining us for what has been another incredible season. And we look forward to so much more that we're going to bring you guys in the next school year, in the fall and the spring and beyond. We've got a lot of great things coming, so stick around, don't go anywhere. Come back right here to this channel, to this Twitter, to this Twitch, to this YouTube, wherever it is you see this. Stay tuned because even more is on the way. Thank you guys once again. I've been KTAD. It's been a wonderful season, and we'll see you next time.
First, can you just tell me a little bit about yourself?
Hi, so my name is Caitlin. I'm a part of Farmingdale State College's Esports Club. I am captain of the Valorant Green Team. I am a second semester sophomore at Farmingdale State College, and I'm 19 years old.
Okay. Do you like Farmingdale so far?
Yeah, it's really great. The program I'm in is very specialized, and it's not offered that often in the East Coast, so it's pretty nice. I enjoy it.
And what's your major?
My major is aerospace professional pilot degree.
Oh, wow. That's really cool.
Thank you.
So, is this your first time on an esports team?
No, so I've been a part of the Valorant team for 2 semesters, and this is my third semester, and it's my first time ever being a captain.
Okay. Oh, that's awesome. Can you tell me a little bit about what it's like being a captain?
So a lot of times I'm organizing the team, making sure everyone is properly set for upcoming games, um, getting scrims for our team, and kind of just making sure everyone is there, present, and possible, and able to play the games that we're gonna, you know, be participating in. We're participating in 2 leagues this semester, so it's kind of hectic.
Oh gosh, yeah, definitely. I can see that. How is it different for you as a player versus as a captain? Do you feel a lot of responsibility?
I basically have the responsibility of choosing who, really plays, what type of characters everyone's playing, and what positions and roles we are all doing, as well as being there not only as a team member, but also being seen as in a leadership role and having that sort of respect there, and being able to delegate everyone's role in the team. So it's definitely a lot more different, and my voice is most definitely heard. So I like it. I like being a captain.
Yeah, that's really good. What games do you play, or what is your main game? I know you mentioned Valorant.
Right. So I play Valorant, but I started off with Counter Strike, and I really always have been interested in FPSs. So that background has always been there. So my transfer onto Valorant was pretty easy.
That's cool. What have you done to improve yourself in game over time?
So one thing for my teams especially, I have open communication where we're able to really give our constructive criticism without taking offense. And me as a captain, especially it being my first semester, I find it really important that everyone is able to come to me and communicate like, "Hey, Kate, I don't know how I feel about doing this," or "I want my voice to be heard about this specific thing." And just basically taking into consideration everyone's voice and having that open line of communication is really helpful, and that's something I find really important.
Okay. Do you carry that strategy into your everyday life as well, would you say?
Yeah, communication is really important to me, especially in aviation with crew members. You're always trying to communicate properly and efficiently to get the assigned goal completed, and that works in video games as well as in aviation. So I feel like it transfers very well, and I put my 100% effort in everything I do. I put 100% in the team, the leagues that we're participating in, communicating with opposing teams that we might be going against. All those things, I take it really important and can transfer it very well into everyday life.
Can you tell me a little bit about what you think about CECC and just competing in general?
It's a lot of fun, and we're so grateful for the opportunity to participate. And this is something that every single member of our team has said. We've never had the opportunity to really compete in a fashion where it's not only fun, we're able to make friends, talk to other people from different schools. It's just an amazing opportunity and something we would love to participate in the future as well.
Yeah, we're really happy you feel that way. When your team is competing with other teams, are there any specific teams or schools that your team kind of looks out for?
I think we all have the mentality of it doesn't matter who the other team is. We're gonna put 100% effort, and we're going to maintain our mental, even if the other team is full of radiance. It's not something we're gonna keep in mind because we will be able to beat them. Fingers crossed.
Definitely. Yeah, that's a really good mindset. As you probably know, March is Women's History Month, and you being a woman in esports, how do you think that has an effect on esports? What does it mean to you to be a woman in esports and as a captain? Just could you talk about that for a little bit?
Coming into being a woman in aviation, which is already really a niche type of thing, especially with women in video games, things like that. It's just we're kind of the minority, and keeping that in mind, a lot of times you have to represent yourself properly because you are representing such a small community. So I feel proud and honored to be a part of the women's in aviation as well as being a woman in esports, and it's a lot of fun. And just understanding that us girls are here too, and we're as good as everyone else, and that we have the opportunity to be a leader in esports, and that we're equal to everyone. It's really important to keep that in mind because we're here, even though you might not see us too often.
I know you said as captain your voice is heard, but when you first started to be a captain, did everyone take you seriously being a girl? Was that respect there, or did you struggle with that?
So I would say initially when I first got on the team, I was put onto a support role, and everyone knows that women normally play healer when it comes to going into any game. And now I'm playing more of a controller based or sentinel, which is very crucial for holding down sites. So by playing that now and then having those semesters in my backpack of experience, everyone has treated me with respect, and uh, I would hope it stays that way. And either way, I demand respect because I reciprocate that respect to everyone else. So it's definitely difficult, especially for girls starting out. That toxicity is there, especially even now whenever I play a game without my team there. That toxicity is there just for being a girl. But as long as you don't have that mindset of them affecting you because you're better than them anyway, it's fine.
Definitely. Well, that's good. I'm happy that you're getting respect that you deserve, and that's awesome. And thank you so much again for your time, and I really appreciate it.
No problem. I just wanted to add that our esports team, our esports club as well, started only with 13 students and 2 teams in 2019. And now we're up to 19 different teams and over 350 students in to date in 2021. Like that progress is there. And even if you have such a small, like, if you think that things are so small, realize that a community is there for you, especially being a female in esports. That community is there for you.
Definitely. That's a great way to end it. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for sharing your story. I really appreciate it again and your time. Just thank you overall. That's awesome. Keep
No
doing what
problem.
you're doing.
Thank you
Thank
for the
you.
opportunity.
Of course. I hope you have a good rest of your day.
You too.
Thanks. Bye.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss that fact, taking big
That's so cute. UCF, and it's really cute. So I'm gonna move down here. How do we feel? The odds for UCF? What are we thinking?
They got it. No, we got this. We got it. We got it. Go Knights. Charge on.
100%. My friend Nick is behind you. He's gonna record it. Don't look at him. You'll ruin the shot. Don't look at him. Don't look at him.
Come on.
Oh,
let's go! Let's go!
My smile's probably really creepy. I was just being weird. Oh, I love being in the shadows, though. Big shout out to the shadows. We could interview Dilly just because I think he's handsome. You weren't supposed to hear.
Here's the thing about the event. I'm the greatest that's ever lived.
Literally true. I know him.
I think everyone knows that. I think everyone's aware of that.
Hey, do you have a VIP access badge on?
I actually have an all access.
Oh, an all access. I thought it said VIP access.
And that's only available for the best.
That's true. He's right. That's a main stage TO right there.
If this goes live, I'm suing everybody.
It's all right. A video of me. The first clip is me saying, "Don't put that in," and then it was the first. Cut the cameras. Cut the cameras. Oh, you're recording already? Great. So this is this is Bay State versus UCF. I believe something that we saw yesterday on day one of the tournament, but instead we're gonna have that run back here. I think they're fighting for a spot in Grand Finals. Anarchy, one of the best Greninja players in the United States, currently struggling against a Terry. Terry notorious for that DLC privilege, being a very strong character with some very strong abilities. Greninja, not so much. much considered one of the weaker characters in the game. A Falco player, one of the best in the United States, and he just got spiked by a Terry. Same Terry that took out Anarchy literally minutes ago. UCF still up by 2 stocks. This guy is looking to rip this team apart single-handedly. That is, I mean, nuts, to say the very least. Absolutely absurd. That was a disgusting spike. I cannot believe that happened. Will you hold the microphone so I can sign this? Sorry. For context, he's got a fan. He's actually signing something. He's so excited. What was it like to not hear my voice for 2 minutes? For 30 seconds, maybe. What was it like? Probably bliss. I was signing a mouse pad, which is really cool. I've never done that before. Nobody's ever asked me for a signature, so I'm going to start blushing, but I'm really excited about that. And then he wants a picture. Can you take a picture of us? I said, is it bad? She went, no. I'm going to go ahead and take that as a yes. Turns out I can't tie a tie sitting down. What do you think is the appropriate face-to-screen ratio for a Valorant player?
Face to screen, like how close I sit?
Yeah, like how close should a player sit?
Personally, I play really, really close. I think it depends on your eyesight, but for me, I like playing close because it helps me focus on my crosshair.
Is the value of sitting close, the crosshair being the only thing in your line of sight?
Yeah, that's pretty much the main benefit of it.
It's so funny how close some of these guys sit. Oh my goodness. What do you think is the healthy face-to-screen distance for a Valorant player?
I think it's all kind of personal preference. I guess I would consider myself like pretty close when I play because I like to like zone in on my crosshair.
It is the second person to say that. It's all about the crosshair. And then what's up with the horizontal keyboard?
I don't know, like it just kind of fits like the form when I'm close to monitor. Like I don't know, it might sound cringy, but I like to like be one with my gun. You know?
No, bro, I feel it. I feel it absolutely. What is going on, everybody? I am here with some UCF fans. How are we feeling about UCF? Let's go! Let's go! We've got a bunch of UCF fans in the crowd right now. UCF, they're up by a single game. They're looking to find their third and possibly final, secure a spot moving forward. Things looking great for them against Northwood here today. This guy's playing Minecraft right now. He keeps double building instead of placing the dirt. Pressure's on, man. Everybody's watching. Just kidding. Just me. Cameraman's not over here. Just kidding. He's behind you. There's actually always cameras on you if I'm around. Do you double build all of those? No excuses, bro.
I can't play Minecraft.
Your college esports Minecraft team absolutely rolled. L after L here. Let's hope UCF has a little better luck on stage, huh? What is going on, everybody? I am Septilence. I have the honor of welcoming you to the Collegiate Esport Commissioners Cup here in Atlanta, Georgia. All right, that was good. That was good. Good content, good content.
Hello, hello, hello. Happy New Year's, everyone, and welcome back to the ECAC Esports channel. As always, my name is Kyler K-Tad Tando, and I once
Hello, friends, and welcome to the Esports 2 coverage of the NJCAAE. I'm definitely not going to stumble over it this time. I'm Relic, joined by Mr. Bepic. You might have been expecting some ECC action, but no, we're going to be taking a look at this particular tournament, and we've got ourselves, Bepic, a tussle between the team that we are expecting to be going towards the ultimate grand finals and a team that is maybe just happy to be here.
Yeah, I mean, with the 180 that we took from that initial ECC match to the NJCAAE matchup, it's still a first seed versus 8th seed in the first round of playoffs, and the first lead seed's looking pretty daunting. A 7-0 Lackawanna taking on a 3-4 Barton that you kind of alluded to it, barely squeaked into playoffs with a game win percentage advantage over the 5th seed in their group.
So, of course, these two teams have come from two different groups. That's how we work. The top 4 from each group qualifying for the playoffs. Double elimination bracket as well. So even if a team does lose at this stage, Bepic, not all over for them, but you don't want to set a bad precedent by getting swept at the first opportunity, because then you're just setting yourself up for another potential dropping into the lower bracket.
That's true, but if Barton does fall victim to Lackawanna here, I don't think they should hang their heads too much, because Lackawanna went undefeated with that 7-0 record, and they won their group by 2 series. Like, the second place team in their group had 2 losses, which is an impressive margin for Lackawanna. So they're coming into this, they should be feeling like they're the favorites, but Barton can make magic happen. That's why we play out the playoffs, don't just go based on seeding, because crazy things can happen in the postseason.
And speaking of crazy things, how about that? All of these players immediately into the lobby, immediately ready to play. So let us set up a best-of-5 scenario, by the way, first. The wins, and, well, there is no way to get around here for Lackawanna. Oh, no.
And that's a big reason why Barton shouldn't be feeling too hard done by if they lose this series. That's a beautiful play right off kickoff. It's a pretty double tap. Took advantage of the miss there on the back wall, stemming from not quite being set defensively off that kickoff. And, well, what a way to get this series started off.
And that's got to be painful for the Barton Cats here as almost a second one goes in, rattles off the crossbar. The orange defense being tested well and truly in these early stages. Lackawanna wanting to put them into the ground before they have a chance to surface.
Oh, Lackawanna realize the speed advantage they've got right now, playing patiently when they have space to do so, and then upping the mechanical intensity when they're allowed to. But they do have to retreat, and that is a start for Barton. You can't be overcommitting like that, though. It's a big concession for LC's second.
Yuki just trying to be a little too clever here. Nice touch, but it slices away. Sets up Jaco for Shizzle, who for Shizzle was in the right place at the right time. Great shadow play following on from the initial challenge there set out by his teammates. That is the second goal that Lackawanna were looking for, and another kickoff win. Doesn't necessarily mean instant possession, but it forces Barton onto the backboard yet again.
And a big stat to note, 42 seconds in and Relic's already made a joke with JK's name. I love it.
I mean, hey, look, it's there, and I appreciate it. I mean, I was literally saying in the green room, wasn't I? You tried to sound cool in school, but it seems like Aoka's a little bit too cool for this particular game of Rocket League. That's the second on the board. Bit of a weak clearance from Yuki. Nice reactions here from Aoka. It's enough on it to get across the line, but Barton getting buried early on, and they just got to settle down, I feel, Bepic, because otherwise we are going to be seeing some cricket score lines.
And now they have to keep their third eye, the one in their back of the head, ready for a JK Foshizzle on their back line, who got that demo to secure that third goal for Aoka. That's why it went in, just being that little dribbler that it was. And that's an extra wrinkle to think about, but a clear is found. And again, I said it was the start earlier for Barton. They got to do more with it, because I think they just overextended again. They're not going to get punished, but got to be careful.
They do, because we see that from Argonaut, and we saw the attempts earlier on from Yuki. It does seem like these guys have some pretty good one-on-one ideas, and they do have some decent mechanics, but it's all attack, no defense. And when the attack isn't scoring goals, that's a recipe for disaster. At this point, Brick's plenty of time to put it onto the backboard, plenty of time to just waste time, really. And this is a real good demonstration of game management from Lackawanna. They don't have to go full throttle if they've already got a 3-goal lead.
And even with that miss from Brick right there, it's just a quick retreat and then immediately a counter to the other side. Aoka missing that double. That's not something you see too often, as they had a lot of open room in the aerospace there. But feeling like the offense of Lackawanna is very much online. They have had a plethora of opportunities. That's another. It is saved. That's well done, but JK Foshizzle right there for their own rebound.
So we haven't even hit halftime, 3 seconds away from that, and already 4 goals to nothing. Let's be real, Barton not with any real good opportunities to shoot and score either. Now, one thing which I do want to add to the discussion here is, of course, the amount of players that are potentially available on tap, Bepic. Unlike that ECC match that we were going to cover, only 3 players on each team, we have 5 players, 2 in reserve for each team. At this playoff stage, is it worth considering them if you are Barton, just to try and switch things up? Or, you know, should you be playing your best team from the start? You know, there should be no reason for change.
That's a really tough one. I think it depends on how much experience those players currently sitting on the bench got during the regular season and how comfortable they are playing with one another. Though, getting blown out in game 1, it hurts. You don't want to risk making it worse going forward. And maybe it's just a case of slow start for Barton. They just have to work their way into this series, get used to the speed that Lackawanna is throwing at them, and then maybe games 2 and 3 and hopefully beyond will be just a little bit better.
I introduced the question. I play devil's advocate to myself. I say, don't worry about changing, Barton. You've selected this team from the off, and I've seen enough good things to think that perhaps this might very well be an anomalous result. Yes, it's 5-0. Yes, if you're just stepping into the stream. First of all, welcome. Glad to have you with us. But second of all, now it becomes 6-0. Now it looks even worse, but it just feels like Barton is panicking a little too much in their transition from defense to midfield. They end up giving it away, and then because there's even further panic because they've given it away, their defense is all over the place. So surely, I mean, the old cliche goes, you win games with goals, but you win championships with defense. And going into game number 2, as game 1 might very well be a write-off, almost a 7th on the board there, maybe defense should be the focus for the coaches and for the players to take a look at in between games.
And Aoka's the player they have to watch, not just in between games, hold on, I'll postpone that thought because we got to figure out what just happened here. I think that was a little bit of panic there on the back line.
Sussy?
A little bit.
Imposter among us? Sussy Bucker? Oh dear. Oh dear. Well, I think that's possibly a good sign, because if this was ranked, I'd be like, oh no, griefer.
Yeah.
But I get the impression that Barton themselves have also just written this one off and said, you know, that it is what it is. You know, we didn't turn up, we didn't play our A game in game number 1. Let's just, you know, keep the smiles on, let's keep fresh, you know, let's keep smiling, because the worst thing that they can do for themselves now at this point is get frustrated with what has transpired, because there are still potentially 2 more games to try and get themselves back into the series.
And there's still a minute left to see what kind of works in the offensive end. I mean, those were 2 decent half chances there, with a shot on save by JK, and then an easy ball towards net from Argonauts. Nice. And here we go again. It's another one towards the blue goal line. And Lackawanna are saving these, but these are closer chances than Barton have seen all throughout game 1. And that's something to take into the second game of this best of 5 and tell yourself, all right, we got close a couple of times. Now let's just take that next step forward, put the ball in the back of the net, which has not been a problem for Lackawanna throughout game 1. Barton just has to find out what that secret sauce that Lackawanna has is.
New objective, try not to concede 10. That would certainly be an exaggerated scoreline, I feel. Mostly because it does feel like Lackawanna have kind of taken their foot off the gas a little bit. And Barton, they can definitely take heart. That was a good opportunity. That was honestly their best opportunity all game, I would say. A nice interplay between the 2 teammates. Shot away. Took a save from Lackawanna, forced the defense out. And I hope that they do take confidence from that. And I do hope that, well, I mean, a goal at the end of this game would be even better. Potentially through the target! Slackened! Finally, they're not going to be shut out.
Well, there we go. And it's a forced center ball of sorts. Just getting in the face of Lackawanna, forcing them to make a mistake for once. And cleaning up as well. That's well executed by Barton. I'm happy to see that goose egg is no longer on the orange side of the scoreboard, because that hurts getting shut out. But finding at least 1 on your opponent has got to help you feel just a little bit better, and that's definitely a bit of a boon going into game 2.
Hey, you know what, Barton? They are currently 1 goal unanswered. They scored the last goal of the game. There is no response. But then again, I think that the response was very much the question asked by Lackawanna, if you take my meaning. They came out of the gates flying, scoring a goal in the opening 5 seconds, following that up with a second within the first 30 seconds. Very much like a freight train running out of control. You can put the brakes on, but it takes a little bit of time to stop. And when Lackawanna did eventually stop, the damage was already done. Barton, as I say, there are signs there. I've not lost hope on this team, Bepic. I hope you haven't either. I hope the audience hasn't. But certainly losing in this fashion, I think perhaps it would damage the mentality of some team, but I don't see that from Barton, not from their body language out on the pitch.
I mean, if you omit the first 4 minutes of that game and just focus on the last 60 seconds, that's a close game 1 with Barton. Yeah. I think they had all 4 of their total shots in that final minute. And I mean, Lackawanna Emory doesn't serve me all that well, but I don't think they had all that many goals in the last 60 seconds of the game. So improvements for Barton at the end of the first game there. And Lackawanna, I mean, you have to focus on the first 4 minutes of that game going into game 2, where Aoka and JK Fushizzle just had their way with the Barton defense. And so they're positives to look at for both sides and things to build upon on both ends.
Bit of microanalysis. Yuki, I think, at the center of a couple of goals that went against them, but then again, it felt like he was honestly shoveled with too much to do. 4 saves. If you keep on finding yourself as the anchor, and if you have no help from your teammates, of course you're going to find yourself in trouble more often than not. And it might not have taken 5 seconds, but it has only taken 8 seconds for Lackawanna to open the scoring in game number 2. They simply have to sort out their kickoffs and defense.
Yeah, when they're not set, when Barton's defense isn't set, it does not look good. And Aoka's not even going to let them get set, even though they do survive the first couple of seconds after kickoff. The demo reigns in, and there was at least 1 goal as a result of a demo in the first game with JK Fushizzle blowing up the back line of Barton.
Oh, what a bump!
Speaking of which, that was a nice bump taking bricked out. The goal didn't fall, but Barton starting to get a little bit more clever in their offensive end.
That's the most scuffed bump I've ever seen, but it was actually really well taken. And it's a shame that there wasn't someone there on the end of it to put it away. And look, all of a sudden, Barton asking questions of this Lackawanna defense. I don't think is particularly special, but unfortunately for Barton, their defense isn't even not special. It is just so it's not present. And when you've got, once again, only 1 player back in a 1v1 scenario, look, collegiate Rocket League is crazy. There are kids who think that they are the next big superstars. They're going to go for 1v1 challenges like this because they've got the ego, because they've got the pride. And Lackawanna, certainly lots of pride. Once again, a 2-0 scoreline opens up.
If there's a player that should have an ego on the field, it is Aoka, with how good they have looked, cutting up the Barton defense and in those solo efforts. So attack Aoka quickly, Barton. If you have the boost, if you are in the area, get on top of that nice-looking Mexican-themed Octane. I'm a big fan of the color theme that Aoka's got, and Barton need to spot the green, red, and white and attack it with some pace.
It's been a hot month since the Day of the Dead, and I'm pretty sure that Barton will not want to be joining them. But as the scoreline keeps on extending, Lackawanna, it's hard to argue against their case, to be honest. A rather unfortunate clearance here. Clips between car and backboard falls perfectly there to be put away by Aoka once again. Barton, look, they scored 1 goal. It was the last goal of game number 1. They've still got to score 3 just to try and equalize in game number 2. It might have already escaped their grasp.
To win this game, they're going to have to put the same amount of shots on target that they did in the previous game and then score all those shots while they're at it. A difficult ask, but I mean, we talked about in the break how they were trending in the right direction, Barton was, and they need to solidify their defense here to keep that trend in the right direction as possession has fallen back into the hands of Lackawanna, and they know what to do with it. These are some great challenges, I'll admit that one, as Brick gets bested by Shellakin, but the speed, Aoka's right there to clean things up and keep the ball in the Barton end.
And the speed is a really good bit of analysis to pick up on because, quite frankly, the midfield has been utterly and truly dominated by Lackawanna in this department. They don't even necessarily have to do anything tactically smart. They just win the race time and time and time again, and it doesn't help that Barton give away possession time and time and time again. Weak clearances like these certainly aren't going to help them in the running, but overall it is still an improvement, to say that for sure, Bepic. I mean, maybe 4, definitely 4, but I would still say definitely improvement. I think by this point last game we were talking about 6, maybe even going closer to 7-0. So yeah, it's baby steps, baby steps.
Small advances, and I mean, Barton's got to start scoring soon if they want to turn those baby steps into a baby jog at this point. And that's nice. A kickoff, almost got it. Argonaut had their shots saved by JK Fushizzle, but that's another close shave for the defense of Lackawanna. They can afford some close shaves, yes, but Barton can get a lot of momentum if they find a goal with about 2 minutes left.
Oh, that was another good look there for Argonaut. Goes wide on this occasion. Aoka with the pop-up. And on his bike he goes, picks up the 100 boost, another flick over one. Is he going to get everyone? No, go for the bump on Argonaut, who managed to get back into defense in time. Nice silky touch. The challenge comes in over to the far side. JK, faux shizzle. It's a hopeful ball, or well met here. Aoka, oh, you've simply got to hit the ball. I think that might be Yuki. Aoka's not going to care, that's 5.
That's just disrespectful out of Aoka, expecting the miss at that point and hanging around for the free score. I can believe it because Aoka has been playing with that level of confidence all throughout the series so far, but I can't believe that they would disrespect the Barton defense like that.
Oh my goodness. Onto the backboard, forces the double commit, a miss. Onto the backboard once again with purpose from Brick. Lovely drop down. JK for Shizzle, there's number 6.
At this point, I think I'm starting to run out of compliments in the bag to hand over to Lackawanna. And JK Fashizzle and Aoka especially have looked so clinical in the air. They have taken over that portion of the field, and Barton has to find a way to contest them in that space, but even when they do go up, they're beaten because of the speed that Lackawanna has to show. Oh dear, 7-0 with a minute left.
Barton just they don't have the tools in their arsenal to deal with this pace. It is such a lovely launch from Aoka, catches that ball perfectly, hits the backboard with pace. He's going to follow up on his own. There's no double commits because communication is there, clear as day. That's number 7. We're going from praising Barton for actually an improvement between games, Bepic, to now thinking, oh god, the scoreline could actually be worse than game number 1.
That's just how fast Lackawanna move. It's not just their speed getting to the ball, it's their speed flipping games on their heads. And that was a close chance. Aoka, though, too good at reading where the ball is going to go and too good with their octane at placing the ball exactly where he wants it to go. And with 35 seconds left, we're on the right side of the field for Barton, but nothing's really finding its way home.
And you know what? Great credit to Lackawanna. They could just be trying to flex. They could be going for highlight reel clips. They could not care at this point. They're 7 goals ahead. But even when their defense was questioned in the dying embers of this game, still on hand, still looking to do the best job that they could possibly do. All players available and willing to throw their cards on the line. That's the sign of a good team. That is the sign of a team that has won their group comprehensively. And as it stands, Bepic, that's the sign of a team that is heading to the upper semifinals.
Yeah, I'm starting to understand why Lackawanna went undefeated and look to stay undefeated here. Just one more game between them and those semifinals. But, I mean, the duo of Aoka and JK Fashizzle, 13 shots, 7 goals on those 13 shots. This must be the greatest series Brick has ever played because he's allowed to just kind of sit back and watch his 2 teammates do the rest of the work. Yeah. And, I mean, if I'm Brick right now, I'm feeling great.
He's turned up to work and he's been gifted with a free pizza and a go-home gift bag. I don't bring points up often when it comes to Rocket League commentary, mostly because they're a little bit deceiving. But there is one thing that I always like to bring up in this sort of situation. If you are getting less than 100 points on the board, so not goals, of course, but actual score in-game from your contributions, if you're getting less than 100... something is seriously wrong, and Barton have 2 players who don't even meet that minimum criteria. Now, Schlacken, I'm going to put you under the spotlight on this one, my friend, unfortunately. Scores the 1 goal for Barton at this point. At this point, I would say perhaps undeservedly so. I'm looking at Argonaut. I'm thinking this guy has had the best opportunities, honestly, for his team across the 2 games. Hasn't got a goal. But Schlacken, apart from that moment where he did score, I don't think I've mentioned his name once. You cannot go AFK on a Rocket League pitch. It's too small for that.
It's a rough go of it for Barton at the moment, and at this point you're playing for momentum, I feel, in the lower bracket, which it seems like they're destined to get to, with now Bricked going for a double tap of their own, and even with them just sitting back most of the time, letting their 2 teammates do a lot of the work, they're still going for clippable moments where they take over the air and douse Barton College's back end. It's tough right now for Barton because all 3 members of Lackawanna are a threat, and I don't know if I can say the same about Barton's squad.
Well, perhaps one of the biggest threats that Lackawanna is going to have to try and overcome at this stage is complacency. Nothing complacent about that shot, winning the challenge and getting on target. Nice. Great challenge win from Yuki, though, moving forwards. Doesn't get the touch he was looking for, and here is Schlacken, does get a faint touch and just holds up the ball a little bit, which is nice, allows his teammates to get back into position, and at least the challenge came through on that occasion. Recycling of the ball, but hold on a second, that's going all the way back to net. JK Shizzle, good communication to be there back in time through the corner now as well. Schlacken allows Argonaut to take possession, and I tell you what, overall possession gained, shots on target, and overall Barton, this is as good as they have looked.
Certainly. They just need to add a little bit more to that shot on target. Maybe sprinkle a demo in here and there. That's one way to open up what has been a steady back line for Lackawanna, or quick passing plays, or forcing mistakes out with just quick rotations through the Lackawanna corners. That's what's worked before. That's why Schlacken got that one goal on the board of theirs. I think it was Argonaut that actually set it up at the end. The waning moments of game one. That's a good save-ish. The post helping out the Barton College defense there.
Oh no, but a massive miss on the backboard, not helping out the Barton defense. Oh, Yuki. Oh, Yuki, you've got to get a touch on that, mate. Ioka, the easiest tap-in that he will score in the playoffs, no doubt. Finally, that breakthrough goal for Lackawanna. They are one step closer to the semifinals.
Bricks passing down the field, looking for Aoka. It's the player you want to extend this lead, but that leaves JK Shizzle in an awkward position. Yuki had that 1v1 position, and more opportunities developing for Barton College. I'm happy to see them taking them.
Demo, but the clearance already came through. Oh, that's cute. Nice read off the backboard. Here's Argonaut trying to go underneath, but ends up going through. Does JK Shizzle. And once again, pinned up and into their own half, really, Barton. Struggling to get away. These long, booming clears falling right at the proverbial feet of Lackawanna. As JK Shizzle doesn't find his teammate, actually. This ball going to fly over to the blue half, into the corner. Oh, wait, okay, that's not the touch he was looking for. Infield from Argonaut, and doesn't reach his intended target. JK Shizzle looking for the double touch. No! There's JK Shizzle to follow up on his own backboard hit. 2-0 Daylight.
Another counterattack goal. That's a difficult spot for Schlacken to be in, having to get a touch on that ball, but you know, you have to make the touch there because you know Lackawanna's pressing with such pace to score that second goal, because it's been a half a game of Rocket League and they've only put one goal in. They got to be wondering what's going so wrong in this third game. We're not at 7 goals at this point, but they do find their second and still looking clinical. Their defense, even though their offensive production has stalled just a touch, their defense is still holding things down.
Oh, lovely demo, but a bit of a mistouch there from Brick. Could have been a goal opportunity. Yuki, lovely bit of clearance duty here. Misses that follow-up touch, however. Schlacken steps in. And there's Bricked on target. Argonaut through the corner, picks up the 100. Ooh, and Bricked caught a little bit out of possession there. Up to the backboard, down. Buying time for themselves. Lackawanna holding the line. Finally broken by Yuki. Hits the blue backboard. Oh, a miss. A shot. Got to go far target, but once again, Jacob Shizzle is the savior on the line.
That's big for Lackawanna. Again, they called into question by Barton. They answer that question and then immediately pose one of their own on the other end. Unfortunately, Barton's back line not quite as stellar. It's tough to save a ball like that. I like the early challenge. I think that's the smart decision there. It just wasn't quite quick enough.
Lovely turn on a dime from JK there as well. Great connection with the ball. Bardowski shot unsavable, some would call it. And perhaps unsavable is the same sort of description that we can give this series from a Barton College perspective. It has never looked like getting out of first gear. It has always looked like they were on the back foot. It has always appeared that they are in a bad position, but maybe a good position here to score a goal. It's on target, but once again, guess who, Bepic? My goodness, this man's on fire.
JK has been all over the field, turning in goals and then on the back line, making diving saves across the blue net. Barton was close there again, and I think at this point it's not going to be goals they take into the lower bracket. It's going to have to be good attempts on the Lackawanna net, because 4-0, now the score and the the biggest part of that, with Barton so close but unable to cap off plays with the score.
That might be all she wrote. That might be murder, she wrote, because for Barton College, it has just been an evening of misery. They have scored 1 goal out of the 3 games up against the coming on almost, I think we actually have passed the 20-goal mark over the entirety of the series. If not then,
there
definitely now. Bricks with number 5.
That was the 20th goal for Lackawanna, as they scored 8 in the first, 7 in the second, and I was worried they weren't going to get back to that 7-8 range in this third game when they were just 2 goals around the halfway point. But their offense has picked it up, and Barton, unfortunately, on the wrong end of an unfavorable matchup. Lackawanna proving to everyone right now that they are the #1 seed in this bracket for a reason.
Going to be wondering if your Hutch Blue Dragons Esports, of course, missing out on the playoffs by game win percentage. Are they feeling a little bit aggrieved that they didn't have this opportunity? Or are they going to be feeling thankful that they didn't have to face Lackawanna, feeling as feisty as they have come out the gates? It is a smashing. It is a thrashing. It is a crashing down to reality for Barton College as Lackawanna head into the semi-finals with a final 6-0 scoreline in game number 3. Dominant.
Well, to answer your previously posed question, I'd be thankful if I were Hutch, because that kind of play that we just saw in 0 seconds in complete garbage time is the kind of play that we saw all throughout that series from Lackawanna. It didn't matter the time, the score, where Barton College's defense was. Lackawanna's offense looked the same. It was a high-flying mechanical prowess that they used to down Barton in 3, and it never wavered.
Of course, it's not all over for Barton. We should emphasize that, even though it might seem as over as it can possibly get at the end of that series. They do, of course, have the lower bracket. So, in theory, they've had one of the 2 most toughest matchups in that upper bracket. But, Bepic, what would you like to see from them dropping into the lower bracket to give themselves a chance of potentially a run that will see them through to, at the very least, the lower semis?
This isn't something I can exactly see from them, that I want them to completely forget about this series. I mean, there wasn't much that went right here. Yeah, their offense had some moments in the spotlight with that 1 goal, with some more decent attempts that J.K. Fashizzle was not keen on allowing in. But your opponent in the lower bracket is not going to be anywhere near the caliber, I'm assuming, of Lackawanna College. I assume there aren't 7 of the 8 teams in this bracket that are at Lackawanna's level. I hope that's not the case, because actually I do hope that's the case, because that'd be an entertaining bracket to watch. But Barton Community College, they just have to play their game in the lower bracket and ignore the thrashing they received here on the upper side.
Well, that's just about it from myself and Bepic, but the show must go on. There's more playoff action to come here on Esports U, but not in Rocket League, but in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. We've got the ECAC Super Smash Bros. Playoffs, round 1. Emory and Henry up against St. Lawrence. Killer Miles and Combo are going to be taking you through that one. Of course, a big shout out to Coltoon on production. Wonderful man that he is. But from us two, we wish you all well, and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is coming up after this.
Partnership with CSMG and their newly launched Esports U network, we will now be able to bring you guys double the amount of ECAC matches. So, with double the matches comes double the highlights. And with that said, I mean, obviously, right, do the math here. It means that we get to take this series of videos to a weekly top 8 instead of just the top 4 like we did in the past. But anyways, that's enough out of me. I'm sure you guys are ready for some hype plays and crazy moments. So without further ado, here you go. In our season opening clip, we have Ghost and Ox with a devastating 1-2 combo that just breaks SLU at the knees. Or is it boosters?
Can't fall through. Nice bounce, but a nice goal! Right past the defender. Ox makes it look easy.
I'm so surprised because I couldn't.
At number 7, Raw Fam pounds his chest and decrees that he is the strongest in the jungle with this sick 3K to flip the point.
The arms and keeps everyone alive through that. Amplification Matrix came through, but we didn't get the same benefit we saw last time with the Amplified Fire Strike. Instead, it's Angry Monkey time from a fan with a 3K. Call that the Primal Blade.
As our first Smash play of the year, it's the clean 9 stock from Hydra to lock down New Jersey City's 2-0 win against Husson.
As they go for that kill confirm again, it's not going to connect this time, but there it is, just waiting on the platform for the spike. NJCU cleaning up in their signature style. Hydra leading the charge all the way home.
Next up, it's every shorty player's dream, and what's gonna be a nightmare for University at Albany.
Up close and personal. This is the one player who's got a chance with his read. What about timing here? So step forward now into the angle. Certainly good for one. There's the one. No one's reswung. He's reloaded. This never happens to a shorty player. Nevin is up now as well.
In our next clip, who needs teammates when you've got a wall? Grim surely doesn't.
Snaps and passes. They tried their best, and that is an open goal. But unfortunately, out the top, it's going to be the header in. Tit for tat. Grim takes it in on their own.
Ooh, spicy little double tap right there. You saw him looking for it, but that's not an easy read.
Rounding out our top 3, it wouldn't be a highlight video without our first ace of the season. D. Rocco, this one's for you. Enjoy.
Take out GSV.
A great shot there. Oh, deep push coming from the for an ace. Rocco looking for one of their own. There's going to be a 4K already coming through. Now a 2v1. The hard rotate through. And the kill. Rocco picking up the ace early and securing a true single player dominance.
In our runner-up spot, AZ Tropical has a bunch of things to do in this clip. The SD into... Well, he's got a lot. Just take a look.
But all right, 2 stocks to 6 for the Fanshawe team. Starting off strong, 45%, 54 uncontested. Let's see what Andy has to offer, because right now he's getting duffed by the Street Fighter.
Ooh, very good option coverage with those up tilts, but you're gonna get jabbed once, and there's the uppercut right there, sent straight off the top. AZ Tropical now battling it out on Yoshi's story. It's looking kind of tough.
And as I was saying, if a character is going to start steamrolling, it's definitely a character with so much crazy zero death potential as we've seen in Kin, because wow, only 19% so far. And this isn't just any character, this is against Fire Mythra. Oh my god! Getting dared right in the face. AZ Tropical only 2 stocks away from tying this entire...
And in our number 1 spot in the you hate to see it category, what's higher than a high noon? Well, Becomix has the answer.
Trade out Leo Leon here. However, Kid Universe making important and inexorable progress. Leo Rafam taking a lot of damage, and it's Becomix finding 3 on the way down! Down goes Duck, and this is looking like an absolute rout for Keen University. Muskingum University just found lacking in points.
Man, after seeing all of that, doesn't that just make you want to say, wow? I mean, for me, I'm definitely speechless and so excited to continue bringing you guys these plays and all of this collegiate esports content. Now, if you want to check out more of the buzz on social media, definitely give us a follow on Twitter at ECAC_esports. Or, if you just want to check out the action live, be sure to tune in on our Twitch channel at ECAC_esports. With that said, I do want to give out a shout out to our partners at Esports U for not only helping to us expand our content, but really also to help bring up all of you guys more of this great collegiate esports action. Now, thank you all so much for watching, and feel free to let me know, what types of matchups or moments you'd like to see next. As always, I've been KTAD, and I'll see you all later. Have a good one.
My name is Dusty. I'm 24 years old, and this is my first year at Bay State College and first year towards my bachelor's there. But I've been going to college for a few years now, or several years now.
Cool. What are you studying?
Right now, I am studying human resource management in
Nice.
business. Yeah.
Do you like Bay State so far?
Yes. Yeah, it's been pretty good so far. It's only been 1 quarter, but I like it so far. So
Where are you from?
I'm from SoCal. I'm doing it uh, remotely from Southern California.
So, what games do you play? What's your main game?
My main game is Smash Brothers, and that's what I compete in. So Super Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Okay, what character do you like?
Wii Fit Trainer is my main character.
So, how has it been being part of a collegiate team at Bay State? Have you been on a collegiate team before?
Uh, I've been on I've been on teams before. I don't know if I've been on a collegiate team before. Um, I think this is my first collegiate team, but it is really nice, and the teammates are really supportive, and I've met some cool people, so that's nice. But I definitely do have experience like with teams, so uh, it's nothing like super new, but it's always good to be in a team, have that support.
A fresh team. Yeah, that's cool. So, how long have you been playing Smash?
I've been playing Smash for about like 7-ish years now. Well, I've kind of played it since I was like really young, but like competitively, I've played it like 7 years. I played since the release of Smash 4, which is the previous Smash game, and now I've played into Ultimate, so quite a while.
What has been your proudest moment since playing Smash?
That's hard to say because I've honestly had a lot of good moments. It's just I feel like every other week or every other month I have a new moment where I'm like, wow, that's the best I've ever played, which feels good and makes it, I keep going for stuff like that. But every time I play a tournament set and it feels really good and I feel like I'm playing the best I've ever played, probably each of those consecutive moments. I just had a tournament a couple weekends ago in Las Vegas where I placed ninth out of nearly 400, I think, and I think that was one of the best I've ever played, and that felt really good. So that was a really big accomplishment for me.
So, you would definitely say over the past 7 years, you said that you've grown a lot in the game?
Yeah, I think I've grown a lot in the game, and I think I've also grown a lot just as a person too. Just like competition in general, there's a lot of learning, and there's a lot of a lot of ways to approach it. I've learned how to teach other people as well because I do coaching as well, stuff like that. Um, so I've learned a lot through Smash. Yeah,
How long have you been doing the coaching part?
coaching I've been doing maybe a year and a half ish, maybe almost 2 years. I'm actually not sure on the number. I think a year and a half is probably closer to the right one. But yeah, that's been a lot of fun too. It's really interesting because it gives you a different perspective on the game, and not only are you helping other people, but you kind of help yourself in a way too because you can kind of see things from a different perspective. So
How would you describe yourself? Do you like competing more or playing for fun or
I'm definitely more of a competitor. Ever since I was young, like I remember playing like board games um with like friends or something. I think I was waiting for them to play, and I think some of them were playing like just like house rules or whatever, and I was like really, really young, and it like made me upset. I'm like, you guys aren't playing it the right way or whatever. But like I've always been a competitor, but at the same time, like you have to have fun because if you're only a competitor and you're only competing and it's all seriousness, like it's there's like a limit to that. So like you have to have fun. So definitely both, but I definitely lean towards the competitive sides of things. So I like optimizing things and seeing the best thing you can do because it all started out with like uh it all started out with it just being fun because when I was younger, I played different games and I originally just played them for fun and I played them all the time, but I played them so often and I got so good at them to the point where uh, it just started to naturally lean into the competitive side of things. And I was so good to the point where I was like, oh, okay, what can I do to make myself like better? And how can I see this as like something I can improve at? So it kind of made like a transition a little bit, but so it's both.
if you were to give someone advice who may be looking into joining an esports team but they're kind of on the fence, what would you tell them?
My advice would be to really like think over what they're looking for like in not only in the collegiate esports team but in school as well and like see like exactly does this line up with what they really want and just to figure out what they really want and if it's going to be a good decision from like a scholarly standpoint and from like a financial standpoint because there's a lot of things to consider. Like I thought it over a lot before I realized, okay, yes, this is a really good decision, I should go for this. So that's something that should be considered, and also like the time frame as well, because if you commit yourself to a collegiate team, it could potentially be a long time. um, So just consider it and think through like all your options, and don't ever make it like don't ever make a decision just off like an emotional reaction or anything like that. Just like, think it through, I guess.
So for you personally, how many hours do you think you game a week?
That's a good question. It's actually way less than it used to be, but before I would be putting in probably several hours a day into Smash. About a year ago, I was like really, really grinding it and put a lot of effort into it. But lately, like my priorities have shifted just a little bit, just because there's other things I need to focus on. Like I started working again recently and stuff like that. So it's taken a little bit of a backseat, but it's always something I focus on. So like, even though I'm not necessarily playing all the time right now, I still try to get at least 30 to 60 minutes in a day. But I've been really busy lately, so it hasn't been looking like that lately. But if I'm not doing that, then there's still other stuff that kind of goes into it. Like I do a lot of research on mentality stuff and like stuff like meditation and stuff. So if I'm not gaming or whatever, there's still other things that I feel like is going towards my improvement at the game.
Could you expand a little bit on like meditating and how that helps you?
Yeah, so with a game like Smash, it can be like really volatile, and one of the reasons why I pursued Smash is because, well, I've always liked it since a young age, but also it's always been like really challenging.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back here to Esports U. We are hopping in here for ECAC Round 1 of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Playoffs. I'm Combo here, joined by the wonderful...
My name is Keela Miles, and we're getting ready to go into, like you said, the first round of playoffs. We've got Emory and Henry, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, taking on St. Lawrence. This is, well, all the way from down in Virginia against New York. This is what the playoffs get to show us here in ECAC.
Yeah, we're getting some of the best collegiate teams we got on the East Coast all coming together, finally playing out these playoff rounds. And this stuff goes by quick, right? We're in the first round here, and there should be 5 rounds total. And since teams are going to be playing over the weekend as well, that means by next Monday, teams are already going to be in quarterfinals. Like, this is going to be gone in a whirlwind. Absolutely super, super scary. Super excited to see how all the brackets shake out here in the playoff stage. All these teams together. So these guys have been prepping for a bit. Getting their button checks through, making sure the rosters are ready. So we got the arena nice and open here. Hopefully we'll be hopping into that. But Miles, how are you feeling about this?
Honestly, pretty good. Like, the first round of playoffs is always a little tricky because it's usually some teams that have all had kind of like rocky seasons if you didn't get a bye, but we get to see what they look like now that they're prepared, they're ready. The playoffs run gives you a target list of everyone you can prepare for. These teams got coaches, they got prep time. We'll see how they fare, as it's going to be Legmer opening up for St. Lawrence, taking on Jared from Emory and Henry.
Yeah, we got the Joker versus Wii Fit. Now, these characters look to be pretty different from on the surface level, but, you know, honestly, they got that kind of deeper ingrained game plan of kind of use that winner mechanic and pump out a bunch of damage to land kills as soon as possible, right? We got the deep breathing up against Arsene, but so far, we've had the Wii Fit deep breathing. Jared's putting on so much hurt and pain right now, not allowing a single hit from Legmer to get in right now. Arsene is up, already over halfway done, approaching 1/3 now. Still not a single hit in. This is just all the right decisions back to back to back to back. Finally getting it back here for 17.4%. That shows you how strong Arsene is. But Legmer is struggling to get on Jared right now.
Honestly, I respect this so much from Jared. Forcing Legmer to show all of his cards. Like, Jared just sits there and is like, you make the move. I'm not going to make it for you. And so Legmer throws out an option, it is punished, and Jared stays ahead without revealing any information or really any habits. The one habit that he is revealing is whenever he goes from one side of the stage to the other, Legmer is starting to catch on and find openings.
Right, you gotta use that Joker speed to really just run up and apply pressure here, because giving Wii Fit Trainer that kind of mid-range to far-range space allows for so many suns to be thrown out, so many soccer balls in your face. You really, really don't want to be dealing with that, especially a character like Joker. You want to be in there, you want to be slippery, and you want to try to land as many combos as possible. But right now, it's been super rough here for Legmer. As you said, not allowing Legmer to catch a lot of these habits because Jared's trying to keep that space, not trying to box up close. But that in itself is its own habit that Legmer has been catching on to just a little bit. I love the aggression that Jared had, even though Arsene was up. Pretty much unfazed, unfaltered game plan. Jared's still getting in there, getting all the right hits at the right time, and Arsene was gone before he knew it.
But even when it's the right hits at the right time, it doesn't feel like Legmer is always ready for them. I've seen a lot of pop-ups, a lot of confirmed starts, but not a lot of confirmed finishes. Just because of the way Jared is playing, you can't be 100% sure you're actually going to land it. So we'll see here with Arsene if that one meaty hit can be enough to finish the stock. A ledge trap coming out now. Legmer looking for a dash attack, but instead they lose Arsene, and that's going to be Jared back on the stage. Knocked off for a second, but again, Legmer can't really find a way to secure the kill.
Right, and now we're seeing Joker approach these higher percents. We got a good amount of rage here on Jared. Deep breathing activated yet again. Arsene still halfway, maybe about a third left. Here's a grab for Joker. Definitely not going to be in the kill throw percentage. Get to keep some space, some distance here as well. We fit back on stage. There's a forward smash. Actually landing, though, finally off the invincible platform, landing back there. Even without Arsene, definitely going to kill around 160%. So that is the first kill there for Joker. But that's an entire stock lead here for Jared and thus Emory and Henry. But oh no, the worst possible thing that could, well, actually, we don't know yet. Hopefully their match is not over and it's simply just us that got disconnected. Did the arena drop? I don't know. There's a lot of potential questions here. It's possible that the spectator switch here got kicked and the game is proceeding smoothly and they will play the game and that'll be perfectly fine. And hopefully that's the ideal outcome for what we have right now, because it would be terrible if they both got kicked for the game and have to kind of reset, restart. Are we going to start from a certain set of stocks? Are we going to go from 3-3 again? Like, where is that going to be? These are just the natural questions you kind of have to get stuck with when you're dealing with Nintendo Online and Smash Ultimate. It is a tragedy. It is a tragedy.
And everyone, I do just want to say thank you for your patience. This could happen again. The nature of the playoffs, teams from all over the country playing each other, so everyone will be back in the game as soon as we can. But that game, it wasn't looking too hot for St. Lawrence. Legmer really wasn't getting called out or able to call out Jared a lot of the time. It's like, I always harken back to that tweet that's like, do you really think, as good as your punish game is, do you really think MK Leo's going to hit you with a full drift in fair and he's not going to DI it? Like, that kind of thing. Like, when you only have your combo starters practiced on immobile opponents or opponents, like when you only have very narrow win conditions, your opponent can find ways to avoid them so easily, and it looks like you can only hit one hit at a time.
Yeah, and that's not going to lead you to the best position for actually pushing through. Another thing I thought was interesting as a Joker opening, where I feel like it's a character that's very strong on comeback because it has intrinsic mechanics that are supported by like that character being kind of behind. So you might want to, save that for later, kind of in the middle, to try and stop like a big wall break instead of an opener. It could still work. And kind of those mechanics will still kick in if Joker's able to carry over. But we got the information here that Emory and Henry did end up winning. So that is going to be Jared's Wii Fit trainer pulling through. At how many stocks, not entirely sure just yet, but I assume 2 stocks is pretty safe.
It was 2.
Yeah. All right. There it is. 2 stocks. So that's a 2-stock lead here for Emory and Henry. 2 stocks here left on Jared, who's playing extremely solidly. So super curious to see who St. Lawrence wants to send out next. But honestly, character matchups a little scary here because Joker is such a well-rounded character and deals like fairly well with, I would say, most characters all throughout, and can kind of slip and slide and Arsene his way through most things. And so now you throw out a Joker here against a character like Wii Fit Trainer, something that you feel like, okay, this shouldn't be a matchup problem. It's gonna be fine, right? And I still would have put that on as a matchup thing. It was just players right there. Jared was doing amazing right there with Wii Fit Trainer. So now St. Lawrence is thinking like, okay, well, who do you want to send up against this super terrifying Wii Fit Trainer, right? They're going to have deep breathing. They're living at super high percents, going to utilize that raise. They're getting those reads. They're getting a lot of jab grounds, right? They got the awkward hits of things like Nair, Fair, and forward smash. It's just Wii Fit's got such odd tools. And I've been seeing a lot in collegiate play. Funnily enough, though, it's not the most avant-garde character when it comes to within just the realm of collegiate Smash alone. I feel like there's a good amount Wii Fit out there. Honestly, even in the greater Smash world, I'm sure Wii Fit is probably underrated in terms of how much representation it actually gets, and people don't give it enough credit for its presence. So that might be a character that people just want to kind of clean up on that, catch up on the matchup, get some knowledge there, just because it could be helpful for your next bracket run. You never know.
I feel like characters like Wii Fit are really good when you're going into matchups with almost zero information on who your opponent's going to be. Like, sure, you play Wii Fit a lot at your local, people are going to know you as the Wii Fit guy. They're going to figure out how to beat you. Might not be too pretty for you, but when you're going up against a random college team, a Wii Fit comes out, they might not know a single habit of yours. They might not know a single one of your characters. What they do know is that they control the ledge better than almost any character in the game, and you have to figure out how to stop them. And they pretty much set up this puzzle. They set up this labyrinth. All the tricks and traps you could ever hope for in the world. And it's up to their opponent to figure it out. As you could see right there, that was almost the purest expression of that philosophy I've ever seen. The fact that Legmer was almost entirely the initiator, but was always the one getting punished. So coming into this next one, this is a, well, deep breathing moment where you got to take a step back and realize, how do I put the pressure onto that Wii Fit? They do have some characters who can fight at a range. However, I wouldn't hate... This is actually a tough call.
It's weird,
at their character diversity. I do see they've got a Ness on there, Ness in the back pocket, in the hands of Henny J, but I'm not sure if that could be the best factor, because I feel like Wii Fit has options to cover the upper diagonal and horizontal like directions that Ness likes to approach from. Like, Ness doesn't really have that like vertical burst range where it drops down on you out of nowhere. And like, even though Wii Fit has really good anti-airs, you can avoid that. So like, I'm curious on how they want to bring this in. I mean, obviously that's up to their players, their coach. It looks like they're getting into the new lobby now.
Yeah, it's not an easy call to make. My favorite analogy, going back to talking about the traps and labyrinths and whatnot, for kind of a zoner type matchup, especially something like this, is akin to a Mario Maker level, where the zoner's kind of setting out everything, functionally setting up all these traps and everything around you. You're that little player character, you're that Mario trying to jump through every little hoop that was put in right in front of you. So that's definitely something we were seeing a lot of with the ledge gameplay and even the onstage gameplay with Wii Fit last game with Jared's Wii Fit. And so, yeah, depending on character match, if you're Nessus there, we got Duck Hunt potentially as well. Both these characters on the smaller end, probably still a little bit faster ground speed and airspeed than Wii Fit, I think, if I'm not mistaken off the top of my head. But I don't know. Those are weird. Nothing at the top, like nothing immediately screams out to me for either of those matchups is like, oh, this is the option to pick against Wii Fit, or vice versa. It's like, oh, this is a terrible option against Wii Fit. I feel like both of them are very much playable, but they're not necessarily hard winning. At least not that I know of. I am not a specialist in any of these characters. There are way too many characters in this game, and so knowing all these minute matchup, interactions and what the respective players actually think of each matchup, and like what the practicals in terms of like set count between characters at high level and whatnot. There's so much information to process. It is insane. And just like it is tough for us commentators to even fathom the weight of it all, it's definitely a struggle for the players here too. So we'll just have to wait and see to throw into the ring against this super terrifying Wii Fit, because beyond just the Wii Fit matchup, you want to have to try and stop them on the bigger teams, right? You're messing already going into, right, because this is a 3v3 format, so we got 9 stocks. So 2 left here for Emory and Henry. So that's 8 stocks versus the 6. Right, it's 3 players to 2. Not a whole lot of time to get stop momentum. Just be way less stocks to work with compared to the more traditional 5v5 and the occasional 4v4. So I mean, you got to get someone in there fast that can take care of this Wii Fit. And Duck Hunt and Ness both are possible, but don't necessarily instill the most amount of confidence in me either. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah. Now, looking towards the future too, I'm honestly pretty excited to see who else could be coming in for the side of Emory, because New York's Smash scene, all the way from the city to the north, I know fairly well, but I don't often get to see some MDVA play. So I'm pretty excited here. We'll see who they chose now. Instead of looking towards the future, it's the present, because we do have Orchard coming in on the Duck Hunt right here. Now, what I do love about Duck Hunt has that, what's it called? I want to say billiards, but that is not it. The disc. The
disc. That's right. That's right.
Into so much.
Right, throwing his own little frisbee, and you've no idea what kind of hits it. Right there, it is 26% right off the bat, throwing the disc over. We have the setups here. So this is kind of one of those like zoner on zoner matchups, but this is definitely more of Duck Hunt's forte compared to Wii Fit. You know, those engages can be so non-committal by just throwing out the disc, right? And Wii Fit's gonna have to, maybe I'll have to jump over here. Now we got a tripod to mess with as a counter pick. Great way to set up the can, have anti-air already prepared as a trap for you, and you can keep your distance. You don't have to worry about soccer ball or the sun as much because your projectiles will either out-prioritize. Wow, what a great spike. Follow up on the disc, and the up B is not enough to recover. That is a very quick stop with only 15% taken. Looks like Orchard was the right choice here. Jared is hard struggling to find any damage onto Duck Hunt right now.
Yeah, do you see what I mean when I said the disc can just confirm into so much? The fact that from across the stage you can throw the disc and set up into a spike, even if it's not quite true, what you can do is just always threaten more options. The issue with Wii Fit is at most ranges, Wii Fit is only getting damage, no confirmed.
Right, there's not a crazy amount of positioning, not a greatest opportunity for a lot of mix-ups. It's just, let me get those 1-2 hits in, crazy damage, crazy shield pressure, whatever. It's going to get that job done. But now Duck Hunt playing a completely different game. Throwing it around, not to engage us, so you're not going to be easily punishing things either. The one time there was a really prime opportunity to punish was where Duck Hunt was fully charging that forward smash on Wii Fit's shield, but what Wii Fit opted to respond with instead was a forward smash of her own, and that didn't quite work out or shake out super well. Now we're at 125%. So many up airs catching the triplat landing here. It looks like a completely different game, and it looks like Jared is not able to adapt to this new environment as easily as he would have hoped.
Ooh, now Jared struggling platform. Y'all in the edge of the explosion, just barely staying alive right here. Can comes up from the depths, but enough to catch them. But the forward smash will be a slow-paced chess match. Ends with a solid checkmate. That's going to be Orchard cleaning up those two stocks and evening up this matchup of St. Lawrence and Emory and Henry.
That's exactly what St. Lawrence wanted, ending that game right there with a nice little dash back, roll in, read with the forward smash, get that stock nice and cleanly taken care of there with the traditional smash attack, nothing too fancy, right? But those reads are always fun to see, always brings a little warmth to my heart. And now, as you said, right, we got the 6-6. Wow. You know, I was a little worried about St. Lawrence's potential to stop this bleeding so quickly, so early, because that's a 2-stock deficit against a very strong showing beforehand. But I mean, the only way to beat a strong showing is to have an even stronger showing, right? Your box office has got to be popping with an even bigger movie coming out next. And that's exactly what Orchard brought to the table right here for St. Lawrence. And now they put Emory and Henry back here to the drawing board with their next player and their next potential character. His counter pick actually mattered a lot here too. The triplats helped so much with the way Duck Hunt was able to plan around ledge situations, around playing neutral, and generally, you know, you'd want to maintain center stage. That seems to make sense for most characters, right? Most people. But, you know, Duck Hunt really wanted to stay near ledge because I think Duck Hunt loved having the platform right above as coverage option, right? You not being able to approach super easily, Wii Fit not having, you know, inherently super great approach options either, and thus having to struggle with now dealing with these platforms. And then the ledge game that Duck Hunt's also able to convert off of, despite, you know, Wii Fit's also super legendary a ledge game. It's kind of a double-edged sword that I think super favored Orchard in execution in this case, and I super appreciated that. But now since Emory and Henry have got the stage counter pick, I would assume they wouldn't want to go into triplat unless they also have a character that really benefits from it. But even then, that could be a little scary to be kind of still giving your opponent what they want.
Normally we don't get to talk about stages that much because I'll be real, stages matter a lot less than people like to make it out to be. In that case, you're right. The stage was so crucial for a couple reasons. One, that first match was played on Town and City. There was so much room to get away from Legmer, and when we saw Jared get away from Legmer, there was so much distance to close. And then, so that smaller space helped a ton, and then like you said, the center stage. Duck Hunt gets called a zoner, but honestly almost like more of a summoner archetype. The fact that he has so many slow-moving projectiles, autonomous projectiles, like you can set up the can on the platform, you can set up the gunslinger on the ground, and then throw out a slow-moving confirming projectile. They need to choose one and know how to get around it. And the thing is, you can vary their placement, you can vary their timing, and that means Duck Hunt can control the ledge from, well, barely leaving center stage. It was huge there on Yoshi's story, and I would love to see gameplay coming up from Orchard, as it looks like we're trying to get the counter picks now.
I love the summon archetype parallel. I can definitely see that. It's you're sending your other lackeys, you're sending out other existing hitboxes and hurt boxes, which help in this specific scenario too, because we saw the gunslinger tank multiple morning suns and soccer balls, and that's perfectly fine, right? That gunslinger is going to wake right back up and come right back out again just to take more soccer balls to the face. But that means Duck Hunt is not taking the same, and that allows Duck Hunt to keep their distance, not take a whole lot of damage, and of course throw out the disc and approach whenever necessary. Summoners is a great way to kind of explain that sort of gameplay with how many lingering projectiles Duck Hunt gets to have out there.
Lingering projectiles are so broken, Gombo. Like, the fact that you can just say, this part of the stage is mine now for, I don't know, a second and a half, and a second and a half is so long. It's way longer than your legend vulnerability lasts.
That's
way
right.
longer than your get up animation. So if you get up into one of those, especially when Duck Hunt has that multi-hit that can confirm off of, it's huge. But now we see the Dr. Mario coming out. I was talking to you before the stream. I'm very excited to see this and what his standard brings to the table.
That is right. You were mentioning the Dr. Mario. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you called it Byleth without a sword, potentially killing you in the most random ways, the most random moves at around 30% and a little higher if need be. And so let's see if we can get some of that Dr. Mario medical magic coming in through with this. So the thing about Dr. Mario here is that his projectile approach is a lot more diagonal, a lot more vertical with the way it angle and the way it bounces, and that's something that Duck Hunt can't as linearly play around. Still has the PS2 platforms to help set up around, but Dr. Mario has been able to find a lot of ways in and super willing to box. I'm sure the side B, the reflector cake that we saw a couple times has been super helpful as well. But really, these pills to help approach have been crazy. An amazing jump cashed in with a forward air, taking that first stock, and lead goes right back to Emory and Henry. Great stuff to Spanish for taking that first stock. It's far from over yet.
Yeah, little known fact, PhD actually stands for pretty heavy dude, because Dr. Mario might as well be a heavy. With how he hits and how hard he can be to kill sometimes, the fact that he has Mario's hitboxes, his get-off move tools, and his kill confirms at ledge, like I said, throw confirms, landing aerial confirms. Dr. Mario just can randomly kill you, and the only reason he's not broken, he has no range to do it.
Yeah, his ground speed can leave a little bit to be desired, but his air momentum is actually deceptively fast, and he's drifting a lot farther, and you're seeing hitting some of those confirms and some of those jump backs, things that I would not expect. As you said, right, I kind of see this character like a heavy, and with how hard he hits and how slow he kind of feels on the ground, but man, he's absolutely moving in the air, and all those setups are super, super dangerous. This could be Duck Hunt's time, but Dr. Mario is going to be able to recover. Caught by the disc, no follow-up there. Nice reflector on the gunman. Means that Duck Hunt could not approach it. If there is the follow-up, gets that forward air. Gets the back air, but is still able to recover. Tries to go for a downer of his own. We're going to have a throw here back there. It's not going to kill. There is a can set up. Tries to shoot the can. We have the down B to stall just a little bit. Great roll on ledge, catch up with the forward smash. That is rough. If you give Duck Hunt time to set up, had the gunslinger, he had the can out, and he covers a lot of range with the forward smash as well. A little bit tough there. Still great play, and Expander's still got a crazy lead here. This is really Orchard's kind of prerogative to slow down the pace of the match immensely and not get clipped by any of those pills, because everything has a follow-up.
Ooh, soft back air doesn't know. A lot of soft ledge trap situations right now. Almost gets up into it. I love that. Using the low end lag to immediately up B. And now you can see Orchard's little stare go straight out after that. No one expected that one. But that is going to be his Spaniard cleaning up right here as Orchard's taken off the playing field. One player left for St. Lawrence.
Wow, that up smash spaced so perfectly, hitting that hitbox, so much shield damage into the immediate reverse up B is 100% online anti-masher tech. People would love to press buttons on that. I could feel it in my bones. Me being a blood rushing masher myself in any and every game I would play, I would have 100% pressed the button right there, and I would have 100% got hit by that. I could feel that in my bones. That was crazy. I absolutely love seeing stuff like that.
Even though it didn't hit, it's the fear factor that really gets to people. Like, when someone does something that you expect and then immediately continues it into something you don't expect, all of a sudden your rhythm's put off. You're like, wait, they just up smash and shield. Like, why are you throwing out hitboxes? All of a sudden, you just want to get as far away from them as possible and analyze the situation. It's not really even a conscious thought. It's fight or flight. You saw they got off the ledge and ran to the other side of the stage, ran to underneath that platform to see if they could be safe. But even though Dr. Mario is pretty slow, it was one step ahead of them, and we did see his Spaniard catch up, finish them off with that was Dr. Tornado at the end.
That was.
They killed them. That
bit of a DI mishap as well. There's no kill spark.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Either way, we learn something new every day. I mean, honestly, people are so used to dealing with the Luigi cycle, and they're like, oh, it's gonna send me up. I gotta hold straight out. Bye-bye.
Yeah, no, that's a kill move. You gotta be careful. That is a kill move.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
But again, what I'm looking for in this next game from his Spaniard is the down throw at ledge, and specifically Nair into grab into down throw at ledge, Hill into grab into down throw at ledge, because all of them can just kill you dead almost immediately. There's so many different ways that you can get just demolished at ledge, so we'll see. I think this is Henny J coming in. Yeah, has what it takes to put a stop to the Doctor's antics.
Yep, so this is one thing I think Ness's small body size, pretty decent ground speed, but of course going to be floating around a bunch too and throwing a bunch of PK fires at around the same angle that I think the Pills are going to be shooting at as well. But I do believe Ness is a lot faster in this situation, and on top of that, having disjoints, however, you know, mid-range they may be, is going to be super, super helpful for this matchup. Ooh, did you see that baseball bat right there? Super early, in my opinion, to try and go for something super committal like that. I think it was a perfect throw opportunity and try to get some damage going up against your Dr. Mario. But Ness still in the game, getting hit by a lot of these Dr. Mario moves, completely chunking down so much percent. Got to use some of that disjoints there, throwing for a PK flash instead. Super, super scary. I'm seeing some odd moves coming out here for the Ness. Hopefully there's a bigger game plan here that we're not seeing.
I like that. Using turnaround run and up smash is a move. Ooh. And again, abusing the fact that up smash is so lagless. Running in, just turn around up smash constantly to get the earliest possible hitbox. Finally gets a kill, sends up and diagonal straight on out of there, and that is going to be their stock.
Yep, that's the classic up smash out of shield. Get the nice punish there. It'll cover a lot of both sides, honestly. Since we've been seeing him go for so many reverse up smashes, we know there's got to be some potential there. And thus, you know, not a bad out of shield option by any means. We saw it pick up a stock. Honestly, entering that range to take yet another one here. 76% with 134% rage on Dr. Mario. One more hard read, and this could be huge for Hispanic.
These pills. The pills are just adding up here. All of them is so much damage. And you can see, trying their best to just slow the pace of the game down, but Henny J is struggling to find a kill. The ledge traps are not going in their favor. Now it's them who has to get back on. Honestly, I think his Spaniard is... Ooh, gets the bounce, but just a little far out.
The angle.
Tried to get the coverage. Henny J tried to avoid it, but unfortunately could not do that.
Yeah, wasn't quite there. I love the attempt, although I do feel they initially went too far deep, farther than they needed to in that situation. That put them in a really bad spot in trying to recover. That's the way it ended up playing out. So now here we are with 167% on Dr. Mario. Can Henny J take at least one stock here, since they are playing for the last stock on their team right now? It is super, super scary stuff.
Pace of the game is slowing down now as Henny is trying to clean up their gameplay, just get finally a ledge trap and get a stray hit in neutral. But that desperation is what his Spaniard is preying off of, getting all of these hits. Grab block, forward smash at ledge, that's enough with full raid to finish off the game, finish off the crew battle, and that'll be Emory and Henry going up 1-0 over St. Lawrence.
Wow. I was kind of expecting some crazy stuff to happen there with the range. 167% that Dr. Mario's got to do something with those, some big numbers. And man, landing that nair into the tumble for the jab into the forward smash. Oh my goodness. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And that is it's perfectly what Dr. Mario's looking for. Hispanic put on a great show for Dr. Mario. I hope you're happy, Miles.
Oh, I'm very happy. An underrated skill in Ultimate is so many people, it's almost considered an advanced thing, don't know when all of their moves send into knockdown position. Like, they may know some very basic things, but you can, if your opponent isn't ready for a knockdown at a really early percent, you can just end their life almost instantly like that, which we saw Hispanner do. Soft hit nair, land, that nair has almost no lag, jab lock, dead. I mean, that forward smash is one of the reasons I call Dr. Mario heavy. The electric. It makes it so meaty. So meaty. It's like Ganondorf's jab on steroids. It's brutal.
It is absolutely a monster. And, he put on a show. That's the potential Dr. Mario's got. Getting those kills, the catches, the near 30% or those low percent, just pick up those kills. DI is also super important because we saw the Dr. Cyclone killing off the side as well, pretty early with no kill spark. So you gotta be paying attention to what's coming your way, Dr. Mario wise. So now here we are heading into game 2 of Emory Henry versus St. Lawrence here. If you're just tuning in, this is the first round of playoffs for ECAC. Quick moving bracket, lots of high level of competition here. It's absolutely insane. But now, let's kind of think about how you might think St. Lawrence would want to change up their strategy just a little bit, right? So they led it with Joker up against Jared, and we saw that didn't work out super well for St. Lawrence. It put them pretty far behind, actually, and it ended up taking Orchard to kind of pop in and then have to be like, oh, okay, I can handle the Wii Fit really, really well. So Emory and Henry, right? They won the game. They might think, we work. It ain't broke. Why need to fix it, right? You can still go with the Jared lead. Seems like a fairly viable option. Now this is St. Lawrence's opportunity to potentially adapt and be like, oh, if we expect to see the Jared Louis Fit lead, we can try and send in our own Orchard and maybe build a lead for us. So that when things get really hairy, we can actually have kind of these extra stocks to fall back on and maybe win the war of attrition type deal. Just a possibility that's completely out there, but that the whole character selection / player selection mind game is out there. Another big thing that happens a lot here in these game 2s is roster swaps and or character swaps. We might see some secondaries come out, some tertiaries come out, and or some completely different players on the roster popping in with whole new character pools and whole new play styles to try and approach something. There's a lot more to this than you might think. Just by looking at the rosters at face value and by looking at the first game at face value, so much more deeper complexities that could end up changing the pace and even the outcome of this next incoming game.
Yeah. If I had to make one prediction, not for any fault of their own, but I feel like Jared won quite the run that we saw last time. I mean, it looked dominant how Jared opened that up. But the thing is, that is something that I called out, how when someone has no information, that playstyle goes a lot better. Hispanics actually opening up here. In theory, opening up here.
Oh, no. That is
if we can
awful
contact
timing.
The players, hopefully we can get back into that. We'll see.
Oh, that's probably gone.
It might just be gone.
Yeah, that match is gonna play itself out.
I was excited. Those were two of the players I was most excited to see right there. So hopefully Orchard and Hispaniard get the memo, but we'll see. Hispaniard's the contact, so I'm hoping.
Yeah, those two are some of the two biggest wall breakers for both teams. They just kind of want to see them slam into each other and see what happens. But unfortunately, I don't know if we'll be able to get that on stream. These guys are probably going to play it out. I don't know. At least whenever I was playing online tournament matches, I wasn't the most attentive to Discord when I had an entire match in my face that I kind of had to pay attention to. So I definitely won't blame the players if they're in the thick of it, trading blows, slugging one another. Getting that percent, racking up those kills, whatever that needs to be done to get the results for your team, all going to be playing out in the background. But let's, I guess we could just try to theorize and predict. How are you feeling about Orchard versus Hispaniard? Dr. Mario versus Duck Hunt.
On paper, not good. However, in practice, we saw the fact that his Spaniard was able to use so many of Duck Hunt's tools against Orchard. I feel like when you're a lower tier character, you have to learn how to use every single one of your moves to its full effectiveness. You don't really like see anyone be like, yeah, that Nair can technically set up into this, but why bother? We have so many other confirmed. When you're a low tier main, mid-tier main, whatever you want to call it, you're going to have to learn to use every single option available to you because it may be the only option for that situation. We saw that. Tumble knockdowns, down throw confirms, platform tech chases into kills, and lag mix-ups. They had it all. Now, we did see a lot of it all from Orchard. We saw some confirms. We saw some amazing ledge trapping. The issue is one of the best anti-zoning tools in the game in the form of that cape. So we'll see if that... I don't know. Like, that cape can act as a battering ram to get in. So, like, I kind of want to predict his Spaniard right there. However, I feel like Orchard, after getting beat last time, was watching, studying, learning. We'll see if that was enough to get them that edge. What do you think?
Me personally, I'm feeling his Spaniard's greatest strength actually comes in with the pill approach. With the jump in, pill has been absolutely phenomenal in dealing with really all the matchups that his Spaniard's been playing tonight, but especially kind of trying to work your way around a zoner like Duck Hunt. I think that's pretty huge depending on the stage that they end up playing on, but I think we did catch a glimpse, but was it PS2 again? I think it was, but I don't entirely remember because we did see it for like a half a second or so, but it has slipped my mind, unfortunately. These two did play together on PS2 last time, and the pills were doing wonders over there. So we did try and see Orchard try to hide on the platforms, but still a little too short. Platforms are still a little bit too high for that to really work. And the pills were doing their job, and it was allowing a lot of opportunities for a Spaniard to get in. And I think that's going to be the ultimate decider of this matchup, if Orchard can end up playing around these pills or not. Because without the pills, Duck Hunt struggles a lot more with getting in. Cape is great for keeping Dr. Mario safe, especially at that mid-range, and if you can try to throw something back at them, it potentially opens a way in. But generally, especially playing farther in, we see a lot of full hops angled in pill as kind of the way to get past everything there at like longer distance. So I don't think Cape alone is enough to handle this matchup. It really is the pill usage that matters a lot. And it also depends on both players. His Spaniard is going to come out on top here as the winning player. Unsure what the stock count is between the two currently.
Two stocks for his Spaniard right there. So pretty dominant. His Spaniards are showing themselves a veritable battering ram on the side of Emory and Henry. And I mean, we did kind of expect that. When a player has their local PR rank in their bio, they're very proud of it, and they will defend that honor to the death. So
it means something.
Fourth in their region, and we'll see if that momentum can keep carrying them through this. I feel like the only reason Dr. Mario is strong is the same reason Byleth is strong. Random kill confirms at every percent. Like, obviously, conventionally very strong moves. Doesn't have the same range that Byleth does, but definitely has just raw forward airs, raw down airs to just kill you dead at nothing percent. But then, at less than nothing, at like, let's say 20%, you get caught by a pill at ledge. All of a sudden, that pill becomes a nair. All of a sudden, that nair becomes a down air. And then all of a sudden, you're like, I thought this character was supposed to be bad. The issue is the character has so many little windows where they can just execute you. And if you let his Spaniard find those windows and flow between them, that is when you're going to see his Spaniard run through this team. So St. Lawrence need to find ways to disrupt that.
Yeah, we haven't really seen what St. Lawrence's proper answer to his Spaniard is just yet. We haven't found, they haven't found his kryptonite. But as you mentioned, the parallel here between Dr. Mario and Ganondorf, Dr. Mario to heavy, looks like we're going to have a Ganondorf in response to deal with his Spaniard. I have no idea how this matchup is going to play out personally with the way his Spaniard has been playing, the momentum that they have in their favor. And I'm also kind of thinking about the smaller size and the setup potential. I'm I'm feeling pretty good here for Hispanic. Just to note also, this isn't Orchard. We are currently unsure who this player is, but
St. Lawrence it is.
Yeah, they're playing for St. Lawrence, and they're representing.
This is Legmer coming in on the Ganon. Ooh, goes down, disrupts the up B with the Nair, and it didn't look like Legmer was quite ready to follow up on it. Gets a little bit of bread and butter with that jab, but unfortunately not quite enough. Up air does send out another opportunity right here, but we've seen one thing, is Spaniard always finds ways back in.
They're both using that kind of floating up air to help them approach, to help them land, and it's really fun to see the Dr. Mario's, nice and chunky up air that we have Gandalf up air in response, and send Dr. Mario flying across the entire stage. Finally, a stock taken here. Again, rather not finally. Here from St. Lawrence side, Legmer bringing his banner down to 1 stock. This is going to look pretty rough for a second. Quite high. Nice air dodge.
Air dodge.
Hill, yes, able to recover. Not going to get red here on its get up option. There's the jab. Look at all that shield pressure. Jab into jab into jab. If it isn't broke, no need to fix, right? Keep the pressure coming.
Shield stun on it. But here's the issue. No real way for Legmer to deal with this pill. And all of a sudden we see Legmer placed in the same position they were back in game 1 where they're fighting the Wii Fit, where they don't really have a good way in. Gets caught on the get up by the forward air. And now Hispaniard definitely has ways to take this out, but Legmer has shown ways to break through. Hispaniard's, that's not one of them.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on at the up tilt there. I'm going to assume that's a misinput, but it's super unfortunate. That's going to be a nice solid punish there from Hispaniard. Now we're seeing Legmer get a little bit antsy with committing to some of these smash attacks on, a preconceived hard read. Wow, a reverse warlock punch right there in the air. Dr. Mario is going to hit him out with a back air, though. This is getting super, super worrisome for Legmer. As you mentioned, the pills, super, super difficult for Legmer to find a way around, and is end up going to get up B punished with it at the end. Finally landing that up special kill and taking out Legmer on the top right side of the screen. Big, huge lead here for Emory and Henry. How many stocks they have? Still like 7, I think.
7-3 right now, and I gotta say, Hispaniard is playing so well without down tilt that I forgot how good down tilt is for Dr. Mario. Down tilt is yet another option that most of his moves lead into and out of. Like, it's like that in and out box we learned about in 3rd grade. Well, I mean, he's got a degree. He had to have gone to the 3rd grade, right?
At least, yeah. He's gone through quite a lot more through that, so it's good to see the classic mathematics coming back in play, putting here on the real world. People say, math doesn't matter in the real world. Here's some evidence for the contrary. Pay attention to math classes, folks. It matters. It matters.
It's the degree. Throw hands, number go up. Lose stock, number go back to 0. It just happens.
It just happens, but knowing the mechanics behind it makes you a smart person. So keep your eyes on.
Anyways, though, but that down tilt, quite a good poke tool. In Mario's kit, that down tilt can quite often just be a combo starter in and of itself, because a lot of people are looking for Mario to go in with those landing aerials. So when you tomahawk and go for the down tilt, it's such a huge mix-up. It's funny that Mario not landing with a safe aerial is such a huge mix-up, but the same is true for Dr. Mario with all of his amazing frame data.
That's right, yeah. Suspiciously and deceptively so. You wouldn't really think that, this more strong Mario is allowed to just whiff stuff or even slam me on shield and be like relatively safe with it. But spacing of course matters too. If you're right up in their face, it's going to cause problems for you. But we've been seeing Hispaniard's been spacing impeccably, and a lot of the times knows when to go and when to not, right? That pill gets blocked, he's going to find a way to drift back really quick and then play with his mid-range tools without having to commit to anything super crazy, right? And you have that range, you have that spacing to keep yourself safe. And now we're going to have St. Lawrence send in another player this time around. So earlier we saw the character swap, right? Legmer swapped off Joker into Ganondorf. But now we're also having Henny J swapped out for Andy here with the King K.
Yep, and this is something we were clued in on earlier in the night, that St. Lawrence unofficial mascot is K. Rool. I was hoping we'd get to see it. I wish it was in better circumstances, as these are very dire straits that the King has to lead St. Lawrence through, and you can see Hispaniard is not going to give up this last stock easily at all.
Right, this is going to be super tough. Again, you're a big body on Keiru's side. You're going to get hit by a lot of these combos. You have some really neat things that disrupt some approaches and some of that mid-range stuff like Blunderbuss, the crown, and the belly armor. But still, Dr. Mario is able to kind of outmaneuver Keiru in most situations, and as a result, these hits are going to be massive. Ooh. What a read on that forward smash for the landing! And that Keiru stock is down. It's only 2 stocks left here for St. Louis. St. Lawrence, this is scary. As you said, super huge call out.
The inherent heavy urge to go for a reversal, because that reversal is going to do 30, but if you get called out like that, it's going to hurt a lot. And the fact that Hispaniard is consistently calling out all the projectiles, getting the kills too. Hispaniard's on a run to open up the playoffs for Emory and Henry.
Yeah, that last play right there was just proof that Hispaniard had the complete download on Andy's game plan right there. Andy landed with the Nair, and Hispaniard was already spaced far enough away for the Nair to completely whiff. It wasn't even on shield. And then from there, Hispaniard was able to run up, down throw, get that down beat, and there was already another kill. 60% super quickly onto this Keiru. There's the down throw up air. Keiru was trying to recover, regain center stage, but was getting knocked off yet again, tanking so much damage even if they're armoring through these hits. There's the down throw up special, and that's going to take Hispaniard effectively. Yeah, well, he did take it all 9 stocks. He was the one player there for St. Louis. No kryptonite. Rather for Emory and Henry complete taking out St. Louis, no kryptonite on their end. I was thinking, like, what changes could they make? What could the mix-ups be here from Emory and Henry and St. Lawrence to maybe potentially change the tides? But Emory and Henry was like, oh, we saw Hispaniard play well last time. What if we just put him in first? And I'm like, okay, cool. They'll take out a bunch of stocks, but then what's left after that, right? But here's the thing. If there's no after, there's no problem. And therefore, we had Hispaniard completely just tear through all 9 stocks right there for St. Louis. That is 100% worthy of an MVP call right there. That is insane. Congratulations to Emory and Henry for taking it 2-0 over St. Lawrence, moving up here in the playoffs. It's good to have a win early on here in the first round. What a set, man. What a set.
Yeah, that was very entertaining and a true showcase of everything Dr. Mario can do against a variety of archetypes. You saw how a Spaniard was forced to adapt in a lot of scenarios, whether their opponent had a lot of projectiles that they had to deal with, navigate around, whether they were getting right in there and scrapping with them, like we saw Legmer's Ganon do, or right at the end right there. Think about those heavies, especially heavies like K-Rool. You can't go for the same kill confirms that you would like anyone else. Even though you might technically have more and you can freestyle a little harder, your bread and butters often just don't work on these heavy characters, especially when those heavy characters can throw out a Nair and get super armor. So you saw in the beginning a lot of caution, a lot of single hits as Hispaniard got used to that weight, experimenting as a doctor should, until they finally figured out the key to victory, which proved to be down throw at ledge, as it usually is, and oh man, did it hurt.
Yeah, that down throw's versatility throughout, the entire set. Super helpful down throw up air, nice damage, down throw, down B, potential kill confirm, down throw up special, flashy kill confirm here, and we saw him take a couple of game ending stocks, especially in the second game here of the set. Super entertaining, great stuff. Dr. Mario out there. The heavies are always fun to watch, and Dr. Mario's kind of a unique case of like heavy hitter, but not like necessarily super heavy, but still like kind of slow, but like frame that is actually deceptively fast. And it's a kind of interesting spin on the archetype that I super enjoyed watching there, especially pit up against the characters that are kind of filling that same niche to some degree with characters like Ganondorf and Keiru, and seeing how that matchup kind of shakes out. But really, the big kicker, I feel, is the kind of conquering of Duck Hunt that Hispaniard was able to so cleanly do across both games in the set. I think Orchard being such a strong player for St. Lawrence's side, and that matchup kind of theoretically seeming like it would be a bit Duck Hunt favored, having that like triumph is so huge for mental, for morale, and also to conquering this kind of very difficult matchup inherently puts you in a good position. So that was just great stuff. Honestly, like mind-blowing gameplay there from Hispaniard, and looking forward to seeing more of them play throughout more of playoffs.
Yeah, they came in at the end of the first crew battle, got their momentum, they kept up the momentum throughout the entirety of the second crew battle, won the entire match for their team. And now they're going to keep up the momentum even more, because we're going to go to a quick break. And when we return, we do have an interview with the Spaniard to hear about how they expect their playoffs run to go. So don't go anywhere. ECAC will be right back.
Kind of getting a little bit angry, and like anger is something I don't really feel very often, so it was kind of like a challenge for me. I'm like, okay, this is really challenging, this game is really hard, I want to figure out how to do this, like I want to challenge myself. And that was a lot of reason why I did that in Smash. Just like some other things, like it can be comparable to kind of like chess and tennis in a way, with like mentality aspects. And I used to play tennis in high school, and I was never really like super good at it, but I was like I was really into it whenever I was playing for some reason. And there was a lot of frustration in that too back in high school when I played. So it was figuring out how to manage that frustration, and how to like get it under control and actually channel it into something useful. Because one of my goals is always to be like, I want to be like a calm and collected person when I play. I like, even though I'm an emotional person, I can be an emotional person because I'm passionate and I care a lot about it. But that's kind of where the meditation comes in, because it lets you kind of be more like at one with yourself and your emotions and how you feel, and stuff like that. And also just kind of eases your mind a bit, and it can really help in those situations. Like if you practice meditation and then you're in game and you're playing, and there's a situation where it's like super high tense situation, it can kind of give yourself the advantage, because you might be a lot more calm than your opponent if you do practice stuff like meditation. And it just has a bunch of other benefits as well, because with something like Smash, I try to be like the best I can be in game and like out of game. I think there's a lot of factors that go into it, and I feel like if I improve everything that I can to the best of my ability, then it gives me like the highest chances to win, like in the game.
I know you speak about frustration and anger, but what about nerves? Like, do you get nervous?
Every now and then I definitely do get a little bit nervous. A lot of the things, like a lot of the my nerves I kind of quell at this point, because I've been playing for like so long, where it's like if I go to a tournament, and I sit down, it's just me in the game, like it's just me in the match, and that's the goal, and it's just trying to learn and just play what's in front of me. But sometimes there are a little bit of nerves, like for example in Vegas, because I'm not very often playing on like big stages. Sometimes it's smaller tournaments, and at Vegas it was a bigger stage and there was a lot more people watching, so it was a bit more of a unique situation that I wasn't always in, and there was a little bit of nerves there, although it was a bit under control. But um, I think I definitely have the nerves mostly under control. And if there's a new situation like the stage one, I feel like just having more experience with that kind of stuff kind of help quells it. And also it's just because there's also other methods too, like telling yourself like, uh, like self-affirming stuff. I'm this is what I do. I'm just gonna go up there and play the game and do my best. And telling yourself that kind of stuff helps with nerves a lot too. So.
As a coach, do you tell those things to the people that you're coaching as well when they're nervous?
Yeah, I try a lot to practice what I preach, and I do in my coaching. There's a lot of mentality coaching too, because uh, I feel like not a lot of I feel like it's a really interesting part of the game and just a part of life too. And I feel like it's not something people focus on a lot with coaching. I feel like a lot of coaching, they're focusing on technical aspects, in-game aspects. Like what can you do in this situation that can be better. But sometimes like mentality comes first, and they're not going to be able to make those steps and make those leaps without like making a change in their mentality first, or at least trying to make an improvement somewhere there. And there's a lot of different like perspectives for it, but yeah.
I really admire your mindset. That's really cool. A lot of the
Thank
gamers
you.
that I've talked to are like aggressive. It's
Thank you.
really cool to hear that. Switching gears a little bit, how do you feel about the CECC? What do you think about it? And do you think your team will go to Atlanta?
So far, I think it's been good. It's been fun, and I do think there's a very high chance we would go to Atlanta. With my mentality, like I was talking about before, sometimes I just go into it and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna do my best and I'm gonna play, and that's really what comes down to it. But I am really confident in our team's ability. I think we have a really good set of guys that put a lot of work into it. So I'm very confident that we would likely go to Atlanta. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Then I just go from there.
Well, those are all the questions I had. So, is there anything else that you want the world to know about you, or anything that you would like to end with?
I don't know, for anyone watching, like, just try to find like a balance like in life, and try to find like who you are truly, and like follow that passion. Because just for like reference, I worked somewhere for 3 years, and then I felt like I wasn't being called to work there anymore, and like Smash was something I always cared about and always wanted to do. So I quit work, and with the money I had saved up, I pursued Smash for like a year and a half, and like that phase just kind of ended. And I don't regret it. I don't regret it at all. Like I wasn't like making a lot of money through it, but it was something I was passionate about and something I wanted to do. And I'm really glad that I did it, and I hope that other people can consider like following.
Welcome back, everybody, to ECAC. It's Combo and Keel Miles here with Hispanard, the Dr. Mario we just saw sweep through all of St. Lawrence. Hispanard, how you doing?
Feeling good after that win. How about you guys?
We're doing pretty good watching you. And I have to imagine the momentum. We talked about the momentum a lot. How did it feel coming in, cleaning up that first crew battle in the manner that you did?
Felt really good. I know Duck Hunt is a problem for the other two players that we had tonight, and luckily I've got a lot of experience in that. And for us, it's just your everydayness, you know, avoid PK fire, watch out of shield, stuff like that.
Good, sounds good. That was actually a big question of mine too, is kind of talk about the Dr. Mario Duck Hunt matchup, but it seems like you answered that to some degree yourself. You already had some familiarity, because I feel like theoretically it's a bit of a tough matchup, but it seems like you've kind of got that super taken care of down pat. Now you're here, you know, winning your first round here in playoffs. Dr. Mario, kind of a controversial character in his own way, and how he played, kind of the impact he has. How do you kind of feel about the longevity of the character and the playstyle moving into these kind of later rounds of playoffs against some of these other teams that will also be pushing forward?
Well, it all matters on familiarity with the character. That's typically a big part of it, is do you know the matchup? Do you know what to look for? So it's going to come down to that. But it's not just on me either. It's also my teammates that they can also do well. As our starter for the first round, Jared, with the Wii Fit, he definitely served us well with the Joker.
Yeah, that was a really good opener. And I gotta ask, team synergy, team composition, can you give us any insight on how you're making these team decisions that lead you to these victories?
It's based on comfort. It's we typically do our research beforehand, see who we've got, what we might be facing, and then we base our picks off of that. So I know I'm comfortable with a lot of matchups. Our second player, Alex Swaggers, is very comfortable in matchups. And of course, Jared is comfortable in some others. So across the three of us, we're pretty comfortable across the board.
It's great to hear. Do you have any other characters that you're also comfortable bringing to these sets? I know it kind of seems like you have a lot of matchups covered with the way you guys go through team composition, but I was wondering if there's any personal other characters you might be willing to in these situations, or do you just keep it Dr. Mario and let your teammates handle it?
I typically keep it Doc. He's definitely my best character, but I've also got, a few other characters. I've got a Wii Fit myself. I've got a Falcon for the heavies, if need be, because King DDD has been a problem throughout the season. I've got a Cloud for Zelda and other difficult characters like that.
Well, I look forward to hopefully seeing that in the rest of your playoffs run. And with that being said, good luck on that rest of the playoffs run. I hope this momentum keeps going forward. But for now, Hispanard, thank you so much for your time.
Of course, thank you all.
Run, and hopefully we'll see you on stream again.
And with that, Combo, I think we are just about wrapping out. Where can they find you?
Yeah, so got Twitter is already down here right below me. You can always catch me on there. Any associate discords as well, with like such the Esports Discord, always open to feedback, always open talking, and always open for commentary geeks as well. So anything and everything's always out there. Super excited. Same for you as well, Miles. I know you got your Twitter, got a lot to plug there. Yep. So definitely Miles a huge shout out, and also drop follows for both of us. If you're ever so inclined or have any feedback or anything like that, we'd both super appreciate it.
Yeah, either way, and with that, we're just going to be wrapping up. Thank you all so much for watching here. This has been ECAC on Esports U. We got Valorant tomorrow, so stay tuned. The playoffs are heating up here on ECAC.
Take care.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss that fact, taking big.
Hey, what's up? It's Honix back at it again to bring you the sickest clips from ECAC. But listen guys, here's the thing. Overwatch 2 still isn't out, and it's been so long that I understand what's happening in the Valorant clips now. I don't know how I could have let this happen. Anyways, let's check out the action from week 2 of ECAC. First up, we've got Nico Baka, who's got a need for speed.
But they have to be careful here. That kick not quite in their favor. Patrick has to be quick too. But Nico Baka, he's just soaring through the sky with way too much pace.
Yeah, you knew this was coming. When this one lingered up in the air for a bit too long from Janio's touch, Patrick tried to go up for this one, but Nico, like we said, he's been the fastest player in this lobby the entire...
Just a friendly reminder that fireworks always add pizzazz to your points.
Of this series. Good read there by Chalk. Because if he didn't place down that block, that would have been a really early stock lead that he would have gotten. And wow, that nade.
Absolutely sniped out of midair.
Everyone is in flux when Mount St. Mary's is on the point.
And that is the bulk of your healing if you're Emory and Henry. Now you're coming in with both DPS ult and the Shatter, but again, a massive Gravitic Flux comes out from Mount St. Mary, stops them in their tracks before they can even get started.
Yeah, the Tac Visor gonna deal the final blows to several members of Emory and Henry.
Eve has got beef with BSU and wants everyone to know it.
One situation left to clutch it out.
No.
I'm a little bit afraid here that the wide swing's gonna come out, but Ian's waiting. Ian is being a little bit patient here. Eve is not going to be able to get the first one, and maybe if Ian was able to wait there a little bit longer, Eve would not have been able to get that free.
Someone, not me, is going to have to tell Talo Halo that sharing isn't always caring.
Gonna feed it. Because right now, Halo is feeding into it 59% before they have been touched for even 0.1%. It is counting. There is Arsene, but he may disappear just as quickly as he has up here. Oh my goodness, Kilomiles. That is a 0 to death if I have ever seen one. Talo Halo.
Don't let your guard down. You never know when Rhino will come charging in.
Is all the way back. That just goes to show how much they're not wanting to make it, but Rhino with all the control gets the one on the board.
Talk about getting one in there. That he actually picks it up initially from a mini pass to himself. That an expert is expecting an expert to do something expertly, right? That is just about as simple as it gets, right? Just literally boiling it down to more basic Rocket League right there. Oh my God! And again, Rhino does it twice in about 30 seconds after no scores.
We're bringing it around town with Chowan University.
Big fights out short. Town, though, just gets the better of it. Great spray control, takes 2 down with him, and already Chowan is looking at a 2-0 right now. Gonna try an entry onto the site with quickness. Not willing to take his foot off the pedal, and Town's got a 3rd. The last 2 coming from CT, and Town wants to put the nail in the coffin right here, right now. One's there, he's gonna hear them both. He has a head in front of him, 4 before he goes down, and all it takes is Dusty to finish this one off.
Last but certainly not least, Big J5 coming in hot with a big 5K.
And Kentucky, they may get the 2nd point for free.
Oh, that headshot. The
Oh,
second
another
headshot?
one!
What?
He's got another dragon already.
The third?
Wait, he finds 3! Big J, he's looking for a fourth. Oh my god, he finds it! He is single-handedly destroying Kentucky right now. Oh my goodness. 4 eliminations, 1 Hanzo, and a brand new Dragons Online. The question...
Wow, I miss these awesome clips, and it's only week 2, so make sure to keep up with the action on Twitch at ECAC_esports, Mondays and Tuesdays at 8, and Wednesdays at 7. And make sure to follow their Twitter at ECAC_esports. And thank you to our partner Esports U and to you for hanging out with me today. See you next time!